will be lost in 2023. The potential is for 179 people to be out of work, says FedEx. They're closing their FedEx supply chain facility on Transfer Drive in Indy. They say they are actively looking to try to place those people in other FedEx jobs. Chris Davis, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Pleading guilty to obstruction and civil rights violations. A former Muncie cop is admitting that he was in the wrong as he was arresting a man back in August of 2018. Chase Winkle is said to have placed his knee on the back of a man's head while he was handcuffed and on the ground and then tasing him. That was after the man had said something to him as he was being arrested. Winkle is also admitting to fibbing on his arrest report. IMPD is no longer responding to alerts from gunshot detectors in Indianapolis. Essentially, it's because their trial run with the new tech is over. Now it's time to analyze what they learned.
How many alerts did we have? How many times did we find something when we went there? How many times did we have a positive interaction? How many times did we render aid?
Commander Matthew Thomas, he tells Wish TV they will still answer regular 911 calls about gunshots. He's back on his full schedule. Harrison Silcox.
Indiana Governor Eric Holcomb was sent to the hospital Thursday last week and was released Saturday. His office says he's ready to get back to making public appearances and plans to take part in a fireside chat with Engage Indiana and a groundbreaking ceremony for the new Andretti Global headquarters Tuesday. Harrison Silcox, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
The Indianapolis Colts are now 4-8-1. Interim head coach Jeff Saturday says that at this point, he's focused on building the best possible team over a 4-week season.
It's for all the marbles. So we need the best 11 on the field every time. And if we think somebody gives us a better chance to win, let's have those discussions.
Saturday says that he's open to reevaluating every position. Traffic on the 5s, Matt Baer.
Northbound 65 crash clear coming out of the north split. We are still jammed back to Rural Street, Keystone Avenue, but the front of the line is starting to move a little bit better. That's good. Southbound 65 at west, crash on the off-ramp. Ramp is open. East side southbound 465 stop and go traffic 70 down to Arlington Avenue. Traffic sponsored by Lowe's. Where do holiday happenings take over every aisle? Lowe's, actually. Experience the magic of Winterfest at Lowe's and save big on gifts like Craftsman tools and Ring devices. I'm Matt Baer with traffic on the 5s. Follow us on Twitter at WIBC Traffic.
Smith & Wesson is committed to empowering Americans no matter what. With inflation hitting everywhere, we've decided to make a change. Now, you can buy a Smith & Wesson Shield Plus, our most popular concealed carry firearm, at an all-new low price, $100 off MSRP. We're absorbing the costs and passing along the savings to you so you don't have to compromise on personal security. Visit smithandwesson.com to find a Shield Plus near you. Smith & Wesson. Always expect the best.
The forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
Some areas of fog and drizzle this morning. Scattered showers return late this afternoon, a high of 47. Scattered showers through late night. We dry out overnight, a low down to 42. I'm Wish TV storm tracking meteorologist Marcus Bailey for 93 WIBC.
Cloudy with still some patchy fog in some places. 43 on Monument Circle. I'm Kirk Darling on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
The Republican Party in Indiana sees zero problem in record spending, in record taxation.
And Casey Daniels.
You went out there and said, please vote for me. You debated other people on why you're the better person for the position. Suck it up.
This is the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Tuesday, December 6th. It is 6 minutes after 9. His name is Rob Kendall. My name is Casey Daniels. Thank you so much for joining us today. You're back.
That's why I don't take days off work.
Yeah?
Because what I found is that I worked markedly harder not being at work than I do when I'm at work. Like the whole day was just doing stuff. Like laundry, cleaning, errands.
You got your hair cut. Looks nice.
They did so well on the first hair, I told them keep going. What a joke right there. Hey, well, thanks, we'll be here all week. But have you found that, like, when you just take a singular day off? And
you're trying to cram everything in.
Allison and I were talking about this before. Allison, Tony's fabulous producer, who Tony Katz totally does not deserve Allison in his life. We were talking about this, that the problem with taking singular days off is you generally feel like competitive, motivated people feel like you got to make everything count. So if I don't get a bunch of stuff done, then it's a wasted day off.
Yeah.
And that is the way I am. So basically, for like 8 hours, I just
You were
worked.
busy.
I just worked.
Good. Okay. Well, we're glad you're back because there was a big story that happened over the weekend.
Oh, yes.
Did you hear?
Which one?
The Twitter files.
Oh, yes.
Elon Musk released bombshell revelations about what led Twitter to suppress the New York Post story about Hunter Biden's laptop, and that was in the final weeks of the 2020 election. And at the time, the Twitter safety people alleged that the articles were in violation of its hacked materials policy.
Right. Now, so this is what was interesting about this, and I'm sure you and Kloppenstein got into this yesterday, which is it is not, because people are saying, well, Biden wasn't president yet, so it was not the government, whatever. It is an admission. It's not something we didn't know, but it is now a public admission with verifiable proof that what is the equivalent of the modern day newspaper, right? I mean, there was a time where everybody went to a certain source to get their information. And I think it is safe to say that whether it's Twitter or Facebook or whatever, it is the modern day newspaper where people go to get their information. And basically what Twitter did is they manipulated blatantly the news that was capable of going into the newspaper, so you wouldn't be able to read the news, right? I mean, it's like if you want to equate it to a modern day utility, which people talk about all the time, it would basically, and I saw this the other day, I thought it was a great example of what took place. If Twitter is the phone company, right? Because we always hear, well, is the internet a utility now? And there's conversation about that. If Twitter is the phone company, it would be the equivalent of any time someone got on the telephone and said, hey, did you hear about the Hunter Biden laptop? The phone company shut off the call.
Disconnects it. Yeah.
I mean, that was the best example that I could think of. And you now have admission and proof that, yes, they were shutting off your phone call anytime you mentioned this. And it was done to help Joe Biden win a presidential election. And they knew it would be a difference maker.
Yeah. Okay. So they're saying it's the hacked materials policy. But here's the thing. The story was broken from the New York Post. And they have their journalistic rules and regulations that they follow, right?
Correct.
So they just wanted to post that story onto Twitter. And everybody's saying, well, Twitter's a town square and some people shouldn't have a right to say certain things. No, that's what the comments section is for. It's the comments section on a post where you're supposed to have the discussion. And Twitter never gave anybody the opportunity for that discussion by shutting the story down.
And it wasn't a hack. Let's remind everybody what happened here, okay? The only reason this laptop came to light was because Hunter Biden, in some sort of likely drunken or drugged stupor, did something to disable that laptop. He then, likely once again in a drunken or drugged stupor, took that laptop to a store to be fixed. Hunter Biden, because he was likely in a drunken or drugged stupor, may have forgotten what he did with the laptop. I mean, I am sure Hunter Biden, day in and day out, at huge portions of his life, had, as we all have at some point, woken up somewhere and said, how did I get here? The only difference with Hunter Biden is it likely happened on a daily basis, where for many of the rest of us, it's a very rare occurrence. And thus forgot to go back and get the laptop. And the store by which he dropped off that laptop, likely in a drunken or drugged stupor, said, we want to get paid. We haven't been paid for this. We've seen what's on this. Okay, we're done here. This was not hacked. He gave it to someone. He took it in there. He likely had to take it in there because of his mental faculty / condition caused him to do something to the thing in question. This was not stolen from anybody. This wasn't confiscated illegally from somebody. He took it and gave it to the people and then never came back and paid for it. That's why it's in the public.
So this is not a violation of any sort of Twitter terms of service. And the mainstream media outlets failed to cover the story. all day Friday, all day Saturday. It wasn't until Sunday evening they started to roll around. 0 minutes they gave.
But think about, and we talk about this a lot with voting. If you keep rewarding someone for bad behavior, then they're going to keep up the bad behavior. And in the case of the media not covering the story, why would they? Look at what has happened in their favor, because we all know the media is an arm of the Democrat Party. The mainstream national media is an arm of the Democrat Party. What's happened? They won the presidential election. They won the House. They won the Senate. Look at the most recent election where they don't cover the one guy who can't, in Pennsylvania, who can't string 3 coherent words together. Now, in this case, it could be Fetterman or Biden. In this case, I'm talking about Fetterman. Look at what happened. The Democrats at least are going to keep 50-50 in the Senate, likely 51-49. The Republicans barely win the House. The media's manipulation of information to people and the total homering and one-sided reporting of things, if they report at all, keeps working out in their favor. Why would they change?
Homering. I like that.
You can use that.
So Elon Musk said, I think these people should be looking in the mirror and wondering why they were deceptive. Why did they deceive the American public? Well, we know the answer to that. Obviously, to win the election and take control.
Absolutely. Now, so Corinne Jean-Pierre, I loved this yesterday. So she had herself a little presser. And look, there is no doubt now, we all know Biden and his people colluded with Twitter to squash the story and alter the outcome of an election, which is what it was all about. There was collusion, undeniable collusion between Joe Biden and Twitter to alter an election. And I thought collusion was like the end-all, be-all. We must stamp out and investigate and punish those who are involved in collusion to the nth degree. And Corinne Jean-Pierre, when asked about it, said, it's totally old news and just a distraction.
So, look, we see this as an interesting or a coincidence, if I may, that he would so haphazardly, Twitter would so haphazardly push this distraction. That is a full of old news, if you think about it. And at the same time, Twitter is facing very real and very serious questions about the rising volume of anger, hate, and anti-Semitism on their platform.
Okay, so she brings up the hate speech. That's what defamation suits are for.
Right.
If you are wronged in any way. And to say free and fair elections anymore, no. Don't want to hear it from the FBI, don't want to hear it from big tech, don't want to hear it from the media, don't want to hear it from the DNC. Old news as in this weekend old news. This is a distraction from the truth is what it is.
Okay, and we're not planning to do this, but as you know, Casey, I cannot step 3 feet outside my house in my beautiful town of Brownsburg without being recognized and someone wanting to come up and have a conversation with me. And I was just trying to mind my own business and run my errands yesterday. And as usual, it was like, and I know this is what Elvis must have felt like, anytime
exactly the same.
But I actually had a conversation with a person yesterday that I thought put some pretty good perspective on what we're talking about here in terms of it doesn't matter what someone does. These people keep getting rewarded for bad behavior, and the results and the reality doesn't matter. And I actually had a really good conversation about this sort of thing yesterday with someone. And if we can talk about that when we come back.
Yeah, it's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Tony Katz.
It's Kanye who, according to the sources, brought with him this guy, Nick Fuentes. Trump never should have had the lunch. You allow yourself to have a meal with a guy who you don't know who it is? And how in the bloody hell did this guy get into Mar-a-Lago? I don't think I could just be Kanye's +1 to Mar-a-Lago. Something tells me there's going to be a bit of a check. So Trump's getting heat for having this lunch. You know what? Damn straight. You do have lines.
Tony Katz, mornings 6 to 9 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
Available home inventory for sale is up, and sales are slowing, but it is a seller's market. You can still sell your home for a great price with the right agent. That agent is Mark Dietel. Maybe you're worried you missed the boat on selling for maximum price. Mark Dietel guarantees an offer on your home in 3 days, or it's listed for free. Get maximum convenience and maximum sales price. Listen to what David in Nineveh had to say about working with Mark Dietel. I wanted to sell my weekend home on Sweetwater Lake. I was concerned the market had softened and I might have missed out getting the best price. I spoke with Mark Dietel and he assured I could get a great price. He was right. Mark was fiercely committed to getting my home sold at the big price, and he did it. My home sold quickly at a great price. Call the agent I trust and recommend for the details. Mark Dietel guarantees an offer in 3 days for full market value or it's listed for free. Call Mark Dietel, 317-755-4232, or go online to markdietel.com. That's Mark, Dietel.com.
Greetings from R&R Agency, your Indiana health insurance pros, and a thank you to our loyal customers for making our agency a national sales leader for the 7th straight year. We recently saved a family of 4 over $500 monthly when compared to their ACA plan. You know it's still Obamacare, right? We recently saved a 61-year-old retiring couple over $600 when compared to their COBRA plan. Breaking news! We are now able to offer health insurance to employer groups of all sizes with 2 of the largest insurers in the Midwest. We've been in the same location with the same phone number for 27 years. We'll be here when you need us. Quoting my favorite president, what in the heck do you have to lose? Call me at 317-435-1718 or go to rragency.org. That's 317-435-1718 or rragency.org. Don't let the federal government or their big insurance company cronies tell you that you don't have a choice. We can help. As always, God bless America, or at least what's left of her.
I'll second guest dinners with friends because they can be interrupted by diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or oily stools. It turns out I have EPI, or exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, which means I'm missing the enzymes needed to digest food. My doctor prescribed Creon, pancrelipase, an oral prescription medication that replaces pancreatic digestive enzymes. Creon treats EPI due to cystic fibrosis, chronic pancreatitis, pancreatectomy, or other conditions.
Creon may increase your chance of fibrosing colonopathy, a rare bowel disorder. Tell your doctor if you have a history of intestinal blockage or scarring or thickening of your bowel wall, if you're allergic to pork, or if you have gout, kidney problems, or worsening of painful swollen joints. Call your doctor if you have any unusual or severe gastrointestinal symptoms or allergic reactions. Take Creon as directed by your doctor and always with food. Do not chew capsules as this may cause mouth irritation. Other side effects may include blood sugar changes, gas, dizziness, sore throat, and cough. These are not all the side effects of Creon.
Creon is the #1 prescribed EPI treatment. Ask your doctor about Creon for EPI and visit creoninfo.com or call 800-633-9110 to learn more. That's CREONinfo.com.
For a smarter conversation about money, everyday wealth with Soledad O'Brien and Gene Chatsky. Presented by Edelman Financial Engines. For airtimes, visit everydaywealth.com.
It's the Kendall and Casey Show. Rob Kendall and Casey Daniels.
I told you, Tennessee, that you're in love with each other.
On 93 WIBC.
Feeling the sunshine.
Americans stand with Elon Musk in an effort to make Twitter more free. This from a new Trafalgar Group poll.
Wait, just let it go for a second.
Oh, okay.
Welcome back.
That's great. That's the new stuff, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. That's the new stuff right there.
Only the Strong Survive, Bruce Springsteen's new album. At record stores now.
Oh, no.
Are there even still record stores anymore?
Yeah, there's a few.
That's so good. Okay, sorry, we should probably do a radio show. This is really good. That's great.
So there's been a new poll by
his voice just phenomenal on that? Sorry, I'm sorry. I'm getting very distracted. Sorry. Go ahead.
It's okay. You keep cheesing on your music.
No, it's fine. Go ahead.
He's got to pot it down. He's got to fade it out for us to move on. Thank you, Kevin. Okay, so the Trafalgar Group poll, it shows that a majority of Americans support Elon Musk in his ongoing efforts to change Twitter to be a more free and transparent platform. 52% say they support him, and that's mostly Republicans. Democrats, much less supportive of free speech and transparency. Nearly 60% of the Dems polled say they do not support Elon Musk.
So it was something that we have talked about repeatedly, which is liberalism, and you have seen as the Democrat Party has rapidly maneuvered to the left side, I mean, just spiraling towards just socialism and in a sense communism, that sort of thought thrives on silencing and delegitimizing any person who dare speak out. And so in the modern era, right, silencing and delegitimizing is deplatforming, is banning, is eliminating the person from access to the medium in order to communicate. Because liberalism, socialism, dies its swift and miserable death when it's forced to be explained. And the only way to not force it to be explained is to rid yourself of the problem. And in this case is the people, the millions of people via Twitter who would like to have a conversation about the insanity that you're putting out on your feed.
Yeah, Republicans overwhelmingly support the change. 84% saying that Musk's transparency efforts are good.
And why wouldn't you?
Right.
Well, regardless of what affiliation you are, why wouldn't you want a robust conversation about whatever the topic is? Because the more robust the conversation and the more people involved in the conversation, I look at it every day when we're here, that the more people who hear us engage in the conversation, the more apt they are to see, wow, that person is right. If you genuinely believe you are correct, the problem with liberals is they know it's psychobabble for the most part, and that's why they become enraged, and their default mechanism is you must deplatform or cancel or whatever this person because we can't defend it.
Well, and it's interesting that you bring that up because now the left's bad guy, they have two. One is Donald Trump still for what he said, which he's on his own with that. But the other is the journalist who tweeted out the information for Elon Musk, Matt Taibbi.
Right.
This guy, they're just totally discrediting him. And it's right there. It's black and white.
That's what they do because it's the fear and intimidation that we need more people. One of the great things that we are seeing about Elon Musk, and I think we talked about this last week before we headed into the weekend, is that our country has thrived from the very inception because people who had everything to lose said, I am willing to lose that in order to create a better country for our people. I mean, you think about it, that's what the foundation of the country was. It was by and large really rich, wealthy, successful people who put it all on the line and in many cases lost it all to create the foundation of this country. Their fortunes were stolen. They lost their lives. They lost their businesses, their families.
They were committing treason and they knew it, but they determined it was worth it for them.
Absolutely. So when you look at what Elon Musk is doing now, I mean, you think about someone like Abraham Lincoln, who lost his life. You know, the country has been blessed because we have almost always in times of when we've needed it most, people are willing to lose a lot to make life better for others. And that is what Elon Musk is doing right now. Elon Musk has lost a level of money this past year that you and I cannot fathom. Like if you wrote it out, you would not. It's unfathomable the amount of money he's lost. He doesn't care because he is recognizing that his moment in history, and I think he is really recognizing this now, that this is his moment in history to do something really great, not just for this country, but for the history of the world, and that is reset the foundation by which we engage in the flow of information in this country. And he's not backing down, and we are very lucky because so many people now, out of fear of being canceled or cut out of the club or the this or the that, it just give in, or they don't say anything, or they don't stand up, or they don't any of that. Elon Musk does not care, and we are very fortunate that he has come along right now because he's exposing a lot of stuff.
Yeah, he said he's not going to be riding around in any open air cars.
Yeah, he
anytime soon.
Yes, he has let people know he is not suicidal.
Okay, so tell me your story.
Well, we got to get to a break because we got Micah calling in from Israel, and I want to get to that. So maybe we'll say that for next hour because it really is an important conversation about the way people are voting, why they're voting. It's easy for us as conservatives to just pin it on, well, these crazy, wacky, unattentive liberals, but we're doing it too. And it is a fairly prominent, well-respected former elected official who told me this, and I will not name the person because they would be tarred and feathered if publicly exposed that they actually agree with and enjoy talking to Rob Kendall. So, but we'll get into that. But Mike is in Israel.
I know. It's going to be a fabulous long-distance phone call, and we've got Kurt Darling sitting by with the news coming up next from 93 WIBC.
Hi, I'm Emmitt Smith, Pro Football Hall of Famer and 3-time champion. Trust me, I know about joint pain.
Pro Football's all-time leading rusher Emmitt Smith talks about chronic joint pain and exciting new regenerative treatments from QC Kinetics.
I know what it's like to fight through pain, but now, you and I, we have help. QC Kinetics.
QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in advanced all-natural regenerative medicine that can give you lasting relief with no drugs, no downtime, and no surgery. Do you suffer with constant pain from arthritis or injury? Pain in your knees, hips, shoulders, or lower back? Don't assume steroids, pain meds, and surgery are your only options. Regenerative, restorative, natural solutions are now available.
Don't let your joint pain keep you from doing the things you love.
Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation and learn how regenerative medicine can repair and restore damaged joint tissue.
Make the call to QC Kinetics. Tell them Emmitt Smith sent you.
Call QC Kinetics 317-559-PAIN. That's 317-559-PAIN. 317-559-PAIN.
Gather near and bring the cheer this holiday season. Dazzle and delight the love of your life with a gift from Hellsberg Diamonds. Don't miss great prices on stunning diamond studs, tennis bracelets, gemstone rings, and the year's must-have look, gold jewelry for stacking and layering. Another reason to go to Hellsberg? Get a free Microsoft Surface Laptop Go with a purchase of $1,699 or more. Visit Hellsberg.com or a store near you today. Limited time offer while supplies last. See online or in store for details.
The share it with a friend deal. Even if that friend is yourself. Your McDonald's, your rules.
$3 meals? Sounds 3 times as tasty. Choose from a crispy 6-piece McNuggets or juicy double cheeseburger and add small fries. All for only $3. Add any size soft drink for $1. Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
What you've heard about probiotics is probably wrong.
I eat yogurt, so I don't need to take a probiotic. Probiotics? They don't really work.
It's time to learn the truth about probiotics from Align, the probiotic brand recommended by gastroenterologists 2 times more than any other probiotic brand. Align has probiotics to naturally help relieve occasional bloating, gas, and abdominal discomfort. Try Align for a month and see how great a healthy gut can feel at AlignProbiotics.com.
Steel outdoor power tools may be hard to wrap, but once they get opened, you'll see why steel is so easy to give. Find the right gift this year with battery power made by Steel. From mowers and blowers to trimmers and chainsaws, our AK Homeowner system of battery tools starts at just $199.99. Shop now by visiting your local Steel dealer or going to steelusa.com/gift guide. Real Steel. Find yours. All prices MSRP available. Participating dealers while supplies last.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level. On the go.
Who will it be? Cloudy and still foggy downtown. 44 on Monument Circle. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 9:30. Georgia voters are deciding today who will represent them in the U.S. Senate in the next six years.
We got to get in the game, and we can't sit on the sideline anymore, because if we sit on the sideline, y'all see what we're going to get. We're going to get people that's you can't trust anymore.
Republican Herschel Walker campaigning Monday. He's challenging Democratic Senator Raphael Warnock in a runoff election. Recent polls have shown a tight race, with Warnock narrowly leading Walker. Wherever you get your news from, you may not soon be able to get it through Facebook. Fox's Gary Baumgarten.
Meta says it will remove news from its platform if Congress passes a bill that would make it easier for news organizations to bargain collectively with tech giants. Congress is considering the bill to rescue local news organizations, but Meta says it would counter such a law by banning the sharing of news on the site, arguing that the news organizations post their content on Facebook to benefit them, not Facebook. Gary Baumgarten, Fox News.
And now the stock report. We're mixed at the opening bell. The Dow is down 29 points to 33,957. The Nasdaq is up 9 to 11,815. And the S&P 500 is down a fraction to 4,003. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Diamonds. Everyone loves them, and at Chain Company, we've been experts in the diamond business since 1929. This means we know diamonds better than anyone else. At Shane Company, you can now choose between either a natural or lab-grown diamond. For your engagement ring, diamond studs, or diamond pendant. When it comes to our new lab-grown diamonds, we take the same approach we do for all of our diamonds and apply our same superior standards. We work with the best diamond vendors, people who've perfected the art and science of creating gorgeous diamonds in a lab, with the quality we're known for. Then, we hand-select only the best stones cut by the best diamond cutters. Plus, all our diamonds are eligible for our free lifetime warranty and upgrades. We'll show you our huge selection in every price range and help you select the perfect diamond. No matter what you choose, whether it's a natural diamond or a lab-grown diamond, you can be confident that with Shane Company, you're getting the most beautiful diamond.
Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and shaneco.com.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Amen. Amen.
It's time to go to church. Here to preach to the choir from the bully pulpit, Pastor Micah Beckwith.
93 WIBC, it is the Kendall and Casey Show. I'm Rob Casey's here, and joining us on the drivehubler.com hotline direct from Israel, he is the conservative voice of America, Micah Beckwith. Tell me, Micah, does Israel appreciate you as much as we do?
Well, so far I have not made anybody mad, at least that I'm aware of. So over here, yes, they still like me in Jerusalem. That's where we're at. We've been here the last couple of days. It's been an amazing trip. I'm with APAC. They have an educational foundation, and they take leaders from around the country over to just learn about what America can do to stand with one of our strongest allies in the Middle East, and how we can support Israel and kind of going forward in the future. So it's been a phenomenal trip so far.
What's it like over there? You know, I've never left the country, nor will I ever leave the country, because anywhere where an attorney and a right to free speech is not guaranteed, I would last about 8 seconds. So what is it like over there? Like, what's the weather like? What do you do over there? Tell everything.
Well, it's a beautiful city. I mean, and the biblical significance is amazing. The modern history, the ancient history. I mean, you got to think buildings. We're seeing buildings that are thousands of years old. I mean, for Americans, that doesn't resonate a lot with us. Like we're a couple hundred years old in the United States when it comes to our founding, but ancient Israel can go all the way back into thousands of years, and so it's fascinating. The weather's great. It's about 55 and partially sunny. Amazing people. I mean, the people are awesome. I think we're hearing from the Palestinians, we're hearing from the Israelis, we're hearing from the Christians. It is a phenomenal place in the world, and I think there's so much significance wrapped around this one little piece of land, because God's hand has literally been on this nation from the beginning of time, and all of God's blessings have come out of Israel one way or the other. And I think that's why there's so much significance around this amazing piece of geography. It's awesome. I love it.
Micah, is that the first time that you've ever been there?
It is. This is my first trip, and didn't quite know what to expect. But I will say, all my expectations were blown out of the water. And again, I think it gives me hope for the future. There's conflict. Yes, there's always going to be wars and rumors of wars. But boy, even in the midst of the tragedy and the heartbreak of life, there's hope. And we just toured the Yad Vashem Holocaust Museum this morning, and it's so heartbreaking. I mean, how humanity could be that wicked, what happened in the Holocaust. But the thing that stood out to me was the hope that these people carried. They never lost hope. And I think, to me, that's the thing that sticks with me when I'm over here, is that there's always hope. And I think that's God's message for especially the season of Christmas, right? We're in this season where people are searching for hope and for a future and for light in the darkness, and that's really God's plan for everyone. And I think nowhere else in the world exudes that better than Israel, because it is just it is a story of a resilient people who have never lost their hope in God. And it's inspiring.
Micah Beckwith joining us from Israel. Okay, so now I assume, and I know it's a very dangerous thing to do,
but you will at some point get an opportunity to walk in the very places that Jesus Christ once walked. Have you had a chance to do that yet? And if not, like, what is your plan to do that? Because you absolutely have to do that if you're over there. And I imagine that is a power beyond belief to know that you are walking in some of the exact same places that the greatest force in the history of ever once walked.
Oh, we have walked where Jesus has walked, and I'll tell you, even now, it's just awe-inspiring. The archaeologists just recently have discovered the pathway that would have led from the pool of Siloam all the way up to the temple, and they took us there, and we went underground. It was kind of this place we weren't technically allowed to go, but they said we'll make an exception for you, and so they took our group down there, and they unearthed these huge stones, and they said this is exactly where Jesus would have walked if he came from the pool. And then they would go up to make the sacrifices, and so they said with almost 100% certainty Jesus would have walked on these very stones. And when they say that, you're just like, you're just in awe. I mean, I don't know how it's hard to process, and I'm still processing it. But really, the overarching theme is that there is a God who loved us so much that he gave his son. He sent him to the earth. He walked amongst us. He knows what we're going through. He knows what we're feeling. And yes, Rob, I just don't have any words. It's hard to describe, but yeah, we have been able to walk where Jesus walked.
Micah Beckwith is on the phone with us. And Micah, unlike Rob, I have been out of the country. And I imagine that you have a tour guide there with you showing you around. But what has the reaction been of some of the people that you have met about you being an American being there? Have you had any discussions with the regular folk?
Yeah, so overall, I mean, it's been a warm reception. I think for the most part, Americans are seen in a very loving, kind of endearing way. We've helped Israel, whether you're Palestinian or Israeli. We have helped you in some way. We give tons of financial aid to Israel and to the Palestinian people. I think we are seen as a force for peace, typically in this region. Even the bad players, like, here's the thing, the Arab world, a lot of the Arab world, what I'm learning, does not like Iran. They think Iran is nuts and off their rockers. And that's even where, like, a lot of the Palestinians and the Israelis can agree on, and the Americans, we all agree that Iran is a huge threat to the region, to the Middle East. And so there's a lot of common ground that I'm noticing that I didn't realize was there until just being on the trip here. So
I know nothing about anything, and so in my mind, the moment you enter Israel, there are just rockets coming at you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I gathered that based on the fact that you seem to be having a peaceful, enjoyable conversation with us. I mean, like, when you said I'm going to Israel, I was like, oh my gosh, what if Micah gets hit by a rocket? And I'm going to guess that that's not exactly how it works.
It's not. I mean, it's similar to if you're walking downtown Indianapolis. Like, okay, there's risks. You know what I mean? Like, you're taking that there could be some crazy guy with a gun walking down. It's kind of that mindset. I've talked to a couple of Israelis, and they said we always have that in the back of our mind, but we're not necessarily. That's not really what we're most concerned with right now. We are aware, but they go about life just like everybody else does. Mm-hmm. So I think that's the thing. You know what? As an American, as somebody who's dealing with the problems of the United States, what I have been found most exciting. And this is going to sound very weird, but they don't have time to worry about the woke nonsense that we deal with. They have way bigger problems. Iran has said they are a one-bomb state. They can drop a nuclear bomb on them, and they would all be done, instantly. You know what? When you are dealing with security issues like that, you don't worry about the stupid things like pronouns. Where people are like, "Oh, someone called me the wrong pronoun. My world is terrible now." It actually there's a strong sense of grounding that I found in this area. People really have good perspective on the value of living life and what peace really means, and I think that's been really interesting and in a weird way, kind of encouraging. So,
yeah, go ahead, Casey.
Well, you know what, Micah, I was wondering because I have been through international travel, and there are things that you do differently to protect your person and also to protect the money that you have on your person while you're traveling. Have you had to go through steps like that?
No, we've got a great tour guide and a great team that they do have security that's traveling with us. So I've always felt really secure, and it's been amazing. I mean, like, really there hasn't been one time where I've been like, ew. And actually, you know what? We went, 3 of us from the group, a business leader out in Utah, and then a state representative from Pennsylvania, and myself, we went jogging early morning, Monday morning, around the city of Jerusalem.
On your own? You went jogging on your own, Micah?
Yes, we did. Yes, I did, Rob.
Okay,
yes.
Micah, this is how people disappear. You cannot do that anymore. I'm banning you for the rest of the trip from doing anything on your own. Stay with the group.
It was fine. We were running through East Jerusalem where the Palestinians had all their market stuff set up, and I mean, we felt safe. It was kids were going to school. It was just a normal day, and it was awesome. And you got to run around with Herod's temple and the Western Wall. I mean, it was awesome.
Micah, before we let you go, obviously Mike Braun made his announcement that he is going to run for governor. How many times have you called Victoria Sparks in the past week and to pull a line from Caddyshack said, "Let's go while we're young"?
I have not called her at all, just so you know. I have talked to her, and I did tell her a while back, say, hey, if you're going to run, let me know. That, and she, for all intents and purposes, said that's what she's going to do. But, I know she's going to make that probably public on her own time, and maybe there's a chance that she won't still run. But you know what? I'm taking one day at a time. I'm doing what God's called me to do, and that's influence people for truth, get people educated and aware, and how they can stand and defend liberty in their own right. So that's kind of my goal right now, and then we'll see what doors open up here.
Do not leave the group anymore, Micah.
He sounds like me when I talk to my daughter. Stay with the group. Don't let anybody go off on their own.
Micah, back with...
I want you to know, though, that if you never hear from me again, I love you both. But I think we'll be okay.
All right, Micah, have a safe trip. We'll talk to you when you get back, man.
Okay, sounds good, guys.
Coming up on the Hammer and Nigel show, Emma Jo Morris reported on the Biden laptop for the New York Post. She'll join us for an update and thoughts on the Twitter email dump. Plus, Tuesdays with Tony Katz. It's 3 o'clock, 93 WIBC.
The latest local news. Commentary from Tony Katz. Kendall and Casey.
5.6%.
Hammer and Nigel. Podcasts. Listen to the station live whenever, wherever. Online at WIBC.com.
With inflation on the rise, you may be charging more to your credit card. But be careful. That increased credit card debt can cause your credit score to suffer.
This is James Hawkins, president of Golden Oak Lending. Don't get stuck with a low credit score and a mountain of high-interest credit card debt. We have a program to help you keep your good score.
Refinance with our low rates to wipe out your high-interest credit card debt and put extra cash in your pocket. Call 317-706-GOLD today.
Find relief in time for the holidays and make no mortgage payments until next year.
Plus, our average cash-out customer saves $904 a month.
That's right. The smartest way to save money is to pay off that high-interest credit card debt.
Call 317-706-GOLD for your free mortgage checkup.
Golden Oak Landing cured my blues.
NMLS 114937.
Hi, this is Denny Smith. If you've been putting up with hard water or an old, lousy water softener for way too long, how about doing something about it? C&J Water is offering 10% off all water treatment equipment, city water or well water, including water softeners, iron filters, and reverse osmosis drinking water systems for absolutely the healthiest drinking water for your family. That's 10% off any water treatment equipment and the best warranty in the business. C&J, they're local, they're exceptional, and they're affordable. 317-597-1833 or cnjwater.com.
At Landmark Recovery, we know that living life addicted to drugs or alcohol is isolating and empty, especially during the holidays. Do you really want to live life that way? Get help with your addiction to find a more fulfilling way to live life. Reconnect to who you really are and the people who love you most. Get addiction help with Landmark Recovery. Call 866-LANDMARK or visit landmarkrecovery.com today.
Today, people are looking for food products that are both nutritious and sustainable. And that's why, more than ever, Indiana's pig farmers are working to make pork a leading sustainable protein by caring for their animals and the environment with the highest ethical standards. The truth is, sustainability adds value for those who buy pork and builds a better future for those who grow it. Learn more at porkcares.org. Brought to you by Indiana's pig farmers.
I'll second guest dinners with friends because they can be interrupted by diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or oily stools. It turns out I have EPI, or exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, which means I'm missing the enzymes needed to digest food. My doctor prescribed Creon, pancrelipase, an oral prescription medication that replaces pancreatic digestive enzymes. Creon treats EPI due to cystic fibrosis, chronic pancreatitis, pancreatectomy, or other conditions.
Creon may increase your chance of fibrosing colonopathy, a rare bowel disorder. Tell your doctor if you have a history of intestinal blockage or scarring or thickening of your bowel wall, if you're allergic to pork, or if you have gout, kidney problems, or worsening of painful swollen joints. Call your doctor if you have any unusual or severe gastrointestinal symptoms or allergic reactions. Take Creon as directed by your doctor and always with food. Do not chew capsules, as this may cause mouth irritation. Other side effects may include blood sugar changes, gas, dizziness, sore throat, and cough. These are not all the side effects of Creon.
Creon is the #1 prescribed EPI treatment. Ask your doctor about Creon for EPI and visit creoninfo.com or call 800-633-9110 to learn more. That's CREONinfo.com.
The latest local news, commentary from Tony Katz, Kendall and Casey,
5.6%.
Hammer and Nigel, podcasts. Listen to the station live whenever, wherever, online at WIBC.com.
Good morning. It is 9:49 with Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Let's talk about some recent polling done by the Marquette Law School. Their polling says that Trump has an unfavorable rating, which has surged to 67% among registered voters, with 1/3 of them being Republican or GOP leaning. Why does this matter? Well, it's the latest in a series of polls that show Trump is losing altitude.
It's over, right?
Yeah.
And this is going to enrage a bunch of people, I know, because every time we tell you the truth about what's going on with Trump, people get mad and threaten to turn their radios off, and then conveniently are there the next day telling us again they'll never listen, and then the next day they're back again telling us they'll never listen. But I think most of our audience is adult enough to have an adult conversation. And the adult conversation is that people are sick of Trump. People are sick of the drama. They're sick of the unforced errors. They're sick of candidates being drugged down by this guy. And there are numerous, and obviously the one that we, tend to try to showcase because we think he's the best of the lot is Ron DeSantis. But there are many people who the party can move on to who are reliable, consistent conservatives. He's not needed anymore. And I know that may sound harsh to many people, but Trump is a poison. I mean, and this poll is showing that Trump's losing to Biden by 10 points.
That's saying something.
Now, again, polls are but a snapshot of a moment in time, but there is zero way anybody can logically tell you, wow, Trump is going to do A, B, and C and really redeem himself with the public at large. Trump is poisonous to the public at large, and right now he will, over the next 6 months, he will do A, B, and C, which will totally win these people back.
I was looking to see if there was a date on this poll because I was wondering, did they take this poll before he had dinner with Kanye West and Nick Fuentes and before he said that we need to terminate parts of the Constitution, or was it done after? Because if it was before, it's going to get just even worse for Trump.
Yeah, it didn't get any better. Marquette Law School had the poll. And what's interesting is over the past year, you have seen a dramatic rise in Ron DeSantis. And essentially, especially if you compare DeSantis, a hypothetical DeSantis-Biden matchup, and you have seen a decline in Trump. And by the way, here are the details. November 15th through the 22nd. So this was before.
Yeah, the last couple weeks.
And by the way, in this poll, DeSantis now leads Trump amongst Republicans 60-40. Is it that much? I don't know. Maybe not. But the point is, why would you want to bring this drama on yourself again for another 2 years? Why would you want to lose more elections for another 2 years? Why would you want to lose the presidency again? Why would you want to drag Senate candidates in Ohio and Montana and West Virginia, which are easily winnable states, down again by people having to be subservient to this guy and talking themselves into boxes and then not being able to win? Why would you want to do that to yourself?
Yeah, I think it's also interesting that this poll shows that Ron DeSantis is now leading Trump by 20 points. And this is 2 years before the election. And DeSantis does not have complete coverage of national name recognition among non-political people.
What is super interesting is how amongst college-educated Republicans, Trump, who is still technically the face and the leader of the party until someone tears that mantra away from him, is underwater.
Yeah.
I mean, look, is it this bad? No. Oh, and by the way, compare that to DeSantis. So Trump's, amongst college-educated Republicans, Trump's favorability is 48 positive, 50 negative. DeSantis, on the other hand, is 80 positive,
9 negative. It's through the roof.
Why would you want to go through this?
Yeah.
It's not like we're saying, yes, we must replace Trump with Jeb Bush in order to win election. We're telling you can find someone who is more reliably, consistently conservative and a stronger fighter in terms of freedom and liberty and limited government than Donald Trump. Why are we even having this conversation at this point?
And you know what? When it comes to DeSantis or Biden has more opportunity to mess up on a larger scale, and his failures are going to be bigger as well. So the future looks pretty bright for Ron DeSantis. I saw this headline, Rob, and I thought of you. I wanted to talk about it.
Yes.
Being a cheap date now has an attractive quality.
Oh.
I know you're a very frugal person. You are off the dating scene.
Yes, that's true.
But inflation has changed modern dating for Gen Zs and millennials, where cheap dates are not only common, but they are, in fact, an appealing quality.
Yeah, but you know what, Casey? Here's the dealio. There are 3 areas from which you should not worry about cost, and that is when it comes to picking a doctor, an attorney, and your dating. Because either way, if you pick a doctor based on cost, an attorney based on cost, or a date based on cost, it is not going to end well for you.
I was surprised that this is a poll that was done by the Wall Street Journal. They said that the average date costs $98.
Wow.
That seems high to me.
That does sound a bit pricey. However, how can you put a price
on love?
On potential eternal happiness. Kevin, have you ever given a price limit to a woman when you've gone out? You ever said $25 and you're cut off?
No, I think that's pretty low.
Are you
Especially on like a first date, I would, I'm not too worried about it, but.
Are you expected to pay 100% or do you go Dutch?
I think the first date, maybe the first couple, I would pay.
Yeah.
But then after that, go Dutch.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
You need to be in a position of power going forward. And she owes you if you pick up the first couple dates.
Exactly.
You're investing in your future, I guess. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Good morning.
Imagine if you could get a 35% bonus when you invest your money. That's right. If you invest $100,000, you get a $35,000 bonus. If you invest $200,000, you get a $70,000 bonus. If it sounds too good to be true, it's not. This is for real. And get this, you'll sleep well at night knowing your money is protected by some of the highest rated insurance companies in the world. To get all the details, call Bill Demery, your retirement guy. He's helped hundreds of families retire successfully throughout Indy. Call 317-972-9172. Hey, this 35% bonus won't last forever. So call now, 317-972-9172. 317-972-9172. 9172.
A story of first downs and second chances. Meet former pro football player Michael Robinson.
I wanted to keep playing, but my feet hurt.
And all those big league experts couldn't help?
You have access to anything, but none of it worked.
Finally, he got fitted with Good Feet arch supports.
Let me tell you something. They work.
Now, he recommends Good Feet to
anybody. If you move, go to the Good Feet store.
Sign up for your free fitting at goodfeet.com. The children's music and dance teacher who couldn't cha-cha.
I was always on my feet. It was just so painful.
Elisa couldn't let her students down. So she stepped up and went to the Good Feet store for personally fitted arch supports.
I would work an entire day and my feet didn't hurt at the end of the day. That was when I knew, wow, these are different.
But the really good part?
It's good to be dancing together again.
Stop by or schedule your free fitting at goodfeet.com.
Come in for a free fitting, no appointment needed. The Good Feet store, in the north, near Keystone at the Crossing or in Greenwood.
At Indiana Foundation Service, we work on a lot of neighborhood homes, and we're proud to share some of what our customers have said about us.
My basement had massive amounts of water when it rained. I made an appointment. They were professional and honest. I'd highly recommend them if you need help waterproofing your home. You'll be in good hands.
When we realized our family room was sinking, we knew we had to act fast and get the right people to come out and evaluate our situation. It was nerve-wracking. Turns out I had a foundation problem. They fixed it and guaranteed it for life.
I was having problems with water in my crawl space during heavy rains. I was concerned about mold and the air my family was breathing. I'm so happy I called. The problem was fixed and I'm not stressed anymore.
Indiana Foundation Service can keep your home and family safe. Visit IndianaFoundation.com to book your free inspection.
Indiana Foundation Service, reliability from the ground up.
My partners had told me I should get my knee replaced. I was in my 40s, and I decided that I wouldn't do that.
That's orthopedic surgeon Dr. John Herzog, who found regenerative medicine years ago and became a believer.
It changed my life around. It improved me to a point where I was able to jog again.
That's when Dr. Herzog switched his focus from surgery to helping his patients with natural biologics.
I've treated at least 5,000 patients. I believe your body has everything it needs to heal itself.
Today, you'll find Dr. Herzog at QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in this exciting field of medicine that can give lasting pain relief with no downtime, no drugs, and no surgery.
I have patients coming up to me that I did 10 years ago saying, Doc, my elbow's still working great. I'm playing tennis 3 days a week.
Call QC Kinetics now to explore alternative ways to deal with your pain. It's a free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 317-559-PAIN. That's 317-559-PAIN. 317-559-PAIN.
Coming up in 2 minutes, some Hoosiers in Indy may be out of a job soon. Plus, a former cop in Muncie is pleading guilty. Harrison Silcox has the story. That and more coming up from the Shepherd Community Center studios. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 10 o'clock.
Go West. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. President Biden's doing that on his way to Arizona the same day. There's a runoff Senate election in Georgia, and Herschel Walker brought up the president in his bid to unseat Democrat Raphael Warnock.
A vote for my opponent is a vote for Joe Biden and a vote for Chuck Schumer.
So today, Election Day, the president plans to talk about his agenda, specifically the effort to make more microchips in the United States at a plant in Arizona. He does not plan to visit the border.
Fox's Peter Ducey at the White House. Republicans blame Biden border policies for a record surge of migrants coming into the U.S. illegally. There is a new push in the current Congress on a bipartisan immigration reform plan. Now back to Georgia. Today's runoff determines if the Senate remains 50-50 or if Democrats have a more powerful majority next Congress.
Both Democrat Senator Raphael Warnock and Republican Herschel Walker know this race is close. They're spending every minute they can out on the campaign trail. Walker is continuing his Evict Warnock bus tour in Marietta, Georgia, where he'll meet and greet supporters. Meantime, Warnock will hold a canvassing event in Norcross, Georgia.
Fox's Charles Watson in Atlanta. Another guilty plea in another case stemming from last year's Capitol riots. In New Yorker, Rafael Rondon helped someone steal House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's laptop. He faces up to 20 years in prison. Rondon's mother was also charged and is awaiting trial. Police officers who responded will today be awarded Congress's highest honor.
The Congressional Gold Medals will be placed in 4 locations, including the Capitol,
U.S. Capitol Police Headquarters, the Metropolitan Police Department, and the Smithsonian Institution. Many officers suffered injuries during the riot, including a number of deaths in the days that followed from natural causes as well as suicide.
Fox's Ryan Schmelz. A Memphis, Tennessee police officer is in critical condition the morning after getting into a shootout with a man killed in return fire. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Closing for good. It's cloudy and 44 downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:02. FedEx Supply Chain is closing their Indianapolis facility. The company says that the closure is the result of a decision to move the business to a new location in the U.S. Job cuts begin in January before the facility closes permanently in June. It's expected that 179 jobs will be lost as a result. A former Muncie police officer pled guilty Monday for his excessive use of force. Harrison Silcox.
Chase Winkle is accused of violating people's civil rights and writing false reports. Court docs say one incident happened in August, 4 years ago, while Winkle and another officer were trying to make an arrest. Their suspect insulted one of them, and Winkle kneed him in the back of the neck and tased him, while Winkle wrote a report that wasn't accurate. He's also one of 4 Muncie police officers accused of using excessive force in the past. Harrison Silcox, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
The Indiana Supreme Court is reprimanding Wells County prosecutor Andrew Carnall for picking up his son after he was stopped for drunk driving on July 2nd. Carnall admitted that he violated professional conduct rules, agreed with the public reprimand and will be paying a $274 fine. He released a statement this summer saying that he made a poor decision in that case. The trial run is over, and so how did it go? That's what IMPD are going to try and figure out when they go into the gunshot detection analysis around the city.
Our officers can get there and have a positive interaction and hear the concerns of someone on a street where there has been gunshots. That is a win.
Commander Matthew Thomas on Wish TV, he says that for now they will stop responding to gunshot alerts from detectors so they can analyze the data. They will still be responding to 911 calls. No sunshine for a while.
I think gray skies are going to be the rule, not just for the next couple of days, but maybe well out into early next week. Just don't have any system that's really going to push all this low-level moisture out of the area.
Mike Ryan with the National Weather Service. On the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Say it ain't snow. December's here, and it's one of the busiest times of the year. With people out getting gifts, Christmas trees needing to be decorated, and families coming over for the holidays, when in the world is there time to clean the floors and carpets? Well, don't let that stress you. Treat yourself to a zero-res cleaning this season. I love these folks because of their patented ZR water. It cleans my home's carpets, tiles, hardwood floors, and more without harsh chemicals and detergents. Not only that, these Zero-Res folks are first class in every way. Their team of knowledgeable technicians will always walk you through the entire carpet cleaning process and make sure you're completely satisfied before they leave. And remember, best of all, there is absolutely no soapy residues. If you call Zero-Res today, mention WIBC, and you'll get 3 rooms of carpet clean for only $149. It's pretty easy to get it all set up. Call 317-388-5141 or schedule your appointment at ZeroResIndy.com and treat yourself to a smarter, lasting carpet clean.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
The Republican Party in Indiana sees zero problem in record spending, in record taxation.
And Casey Daniels.
You went out there and said, please vote for me. You debated other people on why you're the better person for the position. Suck it up.
This is the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Tuesday, December 6th. It is 6 minutes after 10 o'clock with Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. And the president is on his way to Phoenix. And let's talk about that. With the expiration of Title 42 later this month, a lot of legislators, including moderate Democrats, are imploring the White House to adopt stricter border policies. They want him to do this ahead of a possible re-election campaign. And in a recent poll, Republicans held a 21-point advantage on border security over Democrats. So he was asked on his way why aren't you going to be visiting the border? And he said there's more important things going on.
Sure.
He's going to be 100 miles away in Phoenix, and he's not going.
Sure. And he has absolutely no reason to, based on the election results. People clearly are not engaged enough and are apathetic enough, and I know we're going to talk about this here in a second, to not care enough to force our elected officials, to punish our elected officials who create miserable, terrible existences to us. So why would you? Why would Joe Biden do anything different? I mean, ask yourself that question right now. And it is the same question I've been telling these conservatives to ask about Todd Young. Why would he do anything different?
Yeah, he's not being punished in any way.
No, if you do not, the only way to stop these people is to punish them. And on both sides of the aisle, and we'll get to this here in a second, we have completely proven that the process of voting itself and just saying, I have participated and I feel good because I am a participant is way more important to people than actually doing the hard work to hold elected officials accountable. There's no reason. If I were Joe Biden, advising Joe Biden, I would tell him, absolutely don't go to the border. Don't do anything different other than you've done for the first 2 years, which is stumble around incoherently and try to grow government at every single opportunity and continue to jam trillions of dollars into the national debt.
So if Joe Biden were to go to the border, is that just going to bring more attention to the problem?
It would bring
Which is clearly what he doesn't want.
We don't care about solving problems in this country. We are a head in the sand country, and let's pretend the problem does not exist. And that is... And as people are going to continue to reelect people who will placate the head in the sand mentality, and these politicians clearly only care about staying in elected office. They don't care about solving problems. Why would he do anything different? There is zero incentive for Joe Biden to change a single thing that he has done the first 2 years in office based on the election results.
Okay, well, let's talk about some headlines. So the Border Protection agents encountered more than 2.7 million migrants at the southern border last year, which is an all-time record. There was just a recent bust, the biggest one ever, of enough fentanyl to kill 5 million people. Yet he's going to Phoenix to talk about economic initiatives. So he's pretty much betraying the border agents down there who are risking their lives every day.
Yeah, and what happened in Arizona? Who won?
Are you talking about for governor?
I'm talking about all the basically. Well, I mean, not every single one of them, but in terms of governor, U.S. Senate, who won? The Democrats won.
Yeah.
So what? Clearly, the people of Arizona do not care about their state being flooded by illegal immigrants. And if the people don't care about it, then why would you care as a politician? If the people aren't going to force you to care as a politician, why would you do it? We are to blame for all of this. Corinne Jean-Pierre did get asked in her press conference yesterday about Biden's. This is the one question I do have is, Casey, that you would think accidentally, if you have been a senator, a vice president, and a president, you would think for 50 years, you would think like accidentally you would make it to the southern border, like there would be some fundraiser by which you would, something, somehow. That is what I'm amazed by. In 50 years, Joe Biden, there was not a political opportunity that existed in which Joe Biden going to the southern border would benefit Joe Biden.
Yeah, he's never been there, and he's just going to continue on with that trend.
The reason I asked is just because the president had said previously that he hadn't had a lot of time to get to the border. He's going to a border state tomorrow, so you think maybe there would be time there. If there isn't tomorrow, can you say at this point that he...
What I'm saying is tomorrow he's going to actually focus on an issue, a bipartisan issue that was voted in Congress, the CHIPS and Science Act, something that is going to deliver for the people in Arizona, creating jobs and making people's lives better and making sure that we are bringing manufacturing back into the U.S. That is critically important. Now, what I'm saying, the second part of that to your question, if Republicans officials truly want to deal with immigration, they truly want to deal with the border, then they would stop doing political stunts and actually work with us on the plan that we have put forward, which they are not. And that's what we want to make very loud and clear. There's ways to deal with this. Again, they can come and actually do this in a bipartisan way, just like we did with the CHIPS and Science Act.
$11 trillion, CHIPS and Science Act.
Well, and we're going to get to next hour how Todd Young is Mr. Everything's tough on China, and yet China because Todd Young voted for $5 trillion of waste, largely waste, fraud, and abuse, which was the COVID relief, is stealing tens of millions of dollars and not a peep. So it comes back to, I had a conversation yesterday with someone. I was perusing the aisles at my local Walmart, and one of the things that, and I know you go through this too, Casey, is we give up a lot to be who we are, and one of the things that we give up is that often when we go out, people just want to stay and talk with us, and they just want to pick our brains on things.
You're sacrificing your anonymity,
especially when you're a person like me, who, on top of being a obviously phenomenally rated radio host, also did a phenomenal job as an elected official. I mean, there are so many people that I have touched over the years in a variety of ways, and look, it's just something that comes with being me, and that's fine. But I had what?
I'm appreciating your humility.
Well, I know, and when you've been as good as at as many things as I have, it's tough to stay grounded.
Struggle.
Thankfully, our audience really does a great job of making sure that happens.
Keeping you there.
No, but so I just bumped into a person who shall remain nameless, but is a pretty prominent person. Person was an elected official in the county in which I reside, and they shall remain nameless because I will not punish this person based on having some sort of affiliation with me. But this is not a person who you would describe as a radical right-wing Republican. I would not describe this person as a Tea Party person. And we got to talking about the election results, and he goes, I was pretty disappointed in the election results. And he goes, I listened to you a lot, and you have changed my thinking on some things. This is a person I used to combat with somewhat when we were both elected people. And he started talking about how it's possible that certain people get elected. And, we were especially talking about school board races, et cetera. And I said, and he made a good point. He said, I knew when the local candidates for Brownsburg School Board were bragging about being endorsed by the teachers union, I knew who not to vote for.
Yeah.
And I said, but you realize those are the candidates who won. Because for many people, the mere act of voting, they consider doing their civic duty. Like, I have done something great based on my mere participation.
Well, you get a sticker that you get to wear all day.
Absolutely, Casey.
I voted.
Absolutely. When in reality, the act of participating without participating in an informed, educated, able to articulate fashion, you not only should not get any credit for that, you are doing a disservice to society. And I guarantee you, and this is true in communities all across central Indiana, people for school board, unless they listened to this radio station, had no idea who these school board candidates were. And as they waltz into vote or ahead of waltzing into vote or getting mailers, they say, oh, the teachers like this person. I'm for the teachers. I'm for this person.
Well, I think actually the thinking probably goes, I'm for my child.
Right.
I'm for their teachers.
Yes.
The teachers union likes this person. I voted. There should be two stickers. One for I voted and I uninformed voted.
You're absolutely correct. And I saw this, and you see this on school board races more than any other race, where people cannot tell you anything about what that person actually wants. Well, they're for LGBTQ rights. What does that mean? What child is being punished in, whether it's Avon schools or Carmel schools or pick your favorite Central Indiana School Corporation, is being punished because they're LGBTQ? Well, they're treated differently. By who? Well, some kids are mean to them. Oh, so if your person gets elected, kids are just going to stop being kids. Well, now you're just twisting my words. People don't want to own their vote. They want to act as though they have done something, to steal a phrase from Governor Holcomb, noble, by their mere participation. But you also, if we extrapolate that out, it's the same thing is true on the other races. There are so many people who went out and straight ticket voted Republican or straight ticket voted Democrat. And yes, they're enabling people like, if you're a Republican, Todd Young, or if you're a Democrat, Ryan Mears or Andre Carson. That's not anything good for any of us. That's not positive. You're not, just because you're so afraid of Chuck Schumer, you enabling Todd Young was not something you should be proud of. It's not something you should be happy about. But yeah, you can go out and you can justify in your mind, well, I did my part to stop the Democrats because I voted for Republicans. No, you really just made the thing infinitely worse because most of these Republicans are almost as bad as the Democrats, if not worse.
Okay, so
these are the things I have to do this is why I don't take days off, because I end up doing the stuff I do here, but I just have to do it at the Walmart.
And you're doing it in the cereal aisle, and it's more of a one-on-one counseling session.
Yes.
Okay, well, thank you for doing your duty. We all appreciate it.
That was one local government thing that enrages me. When we come back, I've got another.
You've got another about the ridiculous thing you got in the mail.
My total zero of a state senator, John Crane, old cowardly Crane, who once famously told his staff not to engage with me because he was irate that I had the audacity on these airwaves to mention his voting record, sent one of those taxpayer-funded infomercials out to me, and it is the worst of everything.
Well, he asked you a question in the mailer, and I can't wait to get to it, which we'll do next on 93 WIBC.
Tony Katz.
It's Kanye, who, according to the sources, brought with him this guy, Nick Fuentes. Trump never should have had the lunch. You allow yourself to have a meal with a guy who you don't know who it is? And how in the bloody hell did this guy get into Mar-a-Lago? I don't think I could just be Kanye's +1 to Mar-a-Lago. Something tells me there's going to be a bit of a check. So Trump's getting heat for having this lunch. You know what? Damn straight. You do have lines.
Tony Katz, mornings 6 to 9 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
Do you get sinus infections, congestion, sinus pressure and pain, above your eyes, below your eyes, sinus headaches? You've gone to the doctor, you've visited urgent care over and over again, and it's always the same thing. Oh, I know. Let's try antibiotics and nasal sprays. But the sinus infections keep coming back. The good news? Relief is possible. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office of Indianapolis Sinus Center called balloon sinuplasty. Imagine the relief of not having to deal with your sinus infections anymore. Set an appointment today with Indianapolis Sinus Center and find out if balloon sinuplasty is the solution for you. Call 317-528-9650. 317-528-9650. That's 317-528-9650.
This Sunday, if you're looking for a new church home or even a first church home, please consider checking out my friends at Life Church. You know, Life Church has campuses throughout central Indiana, Eagle Creek, Noblesville, Fishers, Pendleton, even online services. That's how we took in services this past weekend, watching the Pendleton campus. Pastor Nathan Peternell did a great job out there. Life Church is warm. They're welcoming. They would love the opportunity to meet you and your family. Learn more at lifechurchin.com.
Life is a collection of moments that last forever, so make them matter and make them count with a symbol of everlasting love. A diamond from Pierce Jewelers. Shop local, shop smart, shop Pierce Jewelers.
It's the Kendall and Casey Show.
I found that a hit record is like a stew. All the ingredients have to cook together just right. Otherwise, it's just soup.
On 93 WIBC.
ABJ Super Rum Pum Pum Pum.
20 minutes after 10 with Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. So let's talk about the mailer that you got from State Senator John Crane. Did you get this yesterday?
Yes, I got mine yesterday. Some people got it a day before me, and I love our audience so much because people will send me pictures when they get things that they know I will use as show content. And we had people that were sending the mailer, and then mine arrived in the mail. By the way, is there anything worse than these? These are taxpayer-funded campaign commercials for these lawmakers, because the one side of it's like a trifold, right? And who knows what that costs to send out. We'll get to that in a second. But the one side is just like, it's like an infomercial for them. And then they legally get away with this. And I've said whether your rep is a Democrat, Republican, whatever, they all do this. And then the other side is some sort of questionnaire where they pretend to care about your opinion. So the one side is the photo of the guy or girl, and then it's how all the things they did in the legislative session for you. And that's why they're sending it out to you, right? It's a vote for me in which they're forcing the taxpayers to fund the vote for me. I mean, in a world in which everything is on the internet, what possible reason could there be to waste all of that taxpayer money to print and mail out these things other than you're using public money for campaign-related materials in a legal fashion.
Yeah. So, and depending on what zip codes they select, you know, how targeted they get with the mailer, the price goes up.
Yeah, absolutely. So, John Crane, and by the way, to all the politicians out there, I know which one of you really hate me and the ones that I'm just kind of a nuisance to. And the ones we pick on the most here are the ones that I know I'm really getting under their skin because the Republicans have totally rigged the system here in Indiana where I can't really stop you people. So the joy I'm going to get is publicly shaming you in front of as many people as possible and hoping that eventually maybe some sort of public shaming will eventually motivate you to do something. That's really the only recourse we have at this point.
Okay, so what's the problem with John Crane?
So he was the guy, remember he was the guy who ran against a very establishment candidate in 2016, was getting thoroughly beaten by the establishment, came crying to people like me to save him and help him. And then you know, we did the things that we do, which is how we help win elections. We tell the truth about people in ways that are sometimes off-putting to others. And he had no problem doing that when he was getting his ass kicked by Pete Miller and needed to win the Senate seat. But then after we got in there and I continued to hold him accountable as I told him would, using the same language and the same sort of descriptions, well then...
Oh, that's when you became the bad guy.
I was just a very terrible person. He was not going to respond to someone like me. And in fact, we once had, this was actually... a couple of months ago, someone who worked for John Crane came up to me at a very public event. There were witnesses who all saw it and said, we were told directly by John Crane, she was a former staffer for John Crane, not to engage with you. I said, what do you mean not to? I'm his constituent. Like, I'm not just a broadcaster. Like, I'm a taxpayer in the county. No. We were told directly not to respond to you because of the things that you say. So I literally have taxation without representation. So since John will not respond to me as a taxpayer, the only way I can let people know my thoughts, and hopefully somebody hears it and maybe in his office will pass it along is on these very powerful airwaves that you can hear all the way from Ohio to Illinois and all points in between. I don't want to do it. I just feel like this is my only recourse. So here was one of the questions. This is a Republican question. A question on a Republican mailer, right? So we know the Republicans are sitting on $1,500 of your money.
Right.
They felt compelled and thought you should throw them a parade for giving you $200 of it back. And remember when I tell you that there is no difference between Republicans and Democrats, right? Like if you are a person that thinks there is still a difference, there is no difference. Here is the top question, because the Republicans are supposed to be the party of low taxes, right?
Limited government.
Limited government, giving you your money back. This is the first question John Crane, cowardly state senator who has told his staff not to engage with me even though I'm a taxpayer in his district. This is the first question he asked. Which one of the following steps do you believe Indiana should take when the state has a budget surplus?
Well, the state does have a budget surplus.
Notice he didn't word it as, what should I do with the $1,500 of your money that I'm currently sitting on? Okay. A, return the money directly to taxpayers through a one-time payment. Okay. Use the surplus to pay down state debt. So in that case, he wants my money to pay down his big government votes. But okay, I guess maybe there's some merit to that. And then number C, okay? Again, number C, letter C.
Number C.
C, increase government spending on programs for Hoosiers.
Who would select C? Who?
Well, apparently, there must be quite a few people based on the makeup of our society, Casey, and the makeup of our state. Now, that is not anywhere because I searched the Republican Party platform high and wide yesterday in anticipation of this, and nowhere in the Republican Party platform did I see anywhere where it said, we are the party that increases government spending on programs for Hoosiers. Yet there it is, front and center on the mailer as an option.
So did you answer?
Well, I was going to, and then I flipped the mailer over, and I realized I would have to pay the postage myself to send this thing back to John Crane.
It wasn't even prepaid postage, huh?
So, on one hand, they're using taxpayer money to send this out because they claim to want a response from me on how this clown is doing in his job. But yet, in order to send it back, in order to correspond with my elected official, I have to use my own money to put a stamp on this thing to send it back when he's already told his staff, just throw it in the trash if it comes from Rob Kendall.
Right, don't engage with this guy. So it's still sitting there.
Well, I feel like I'm going to just let him know right now. John, if you know John, tell him to listen up. If you can relay this to him if he's not listening right now. Give me my money back.
So A.
You have stolen my stuff. Mm-hmm. You've done a terrible job while stealing my stuff. It's my money. Give it back. And that's all I've got for now, Casey, because I want to keep my job.
All right.
I feel like I'm going to say something that's going to get me in a lot of trouble.
Stop. We got it. Rob Kendall chose A, John Crane. It is Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Good morning.
This view was worth a hike.
Right? And it's a good way to stay on top of my health.
Yes, I'm Cologuard, a prescription colon cancer screening option for people 45 plus at average risk. Have you screened for colon cancer?
Not yet.
Don't wait. It's more treatable when caught in early stages.
Tell me more.
Cologuard is non-invasive and it's used at home. It detects altered DNA in your stool to find 92% of colon cancers.
92%?
Yep, even those in early stages.
This was seen in a clinical study with patients 50 and older. Any positive result should be followed by a diagnostic colonoscopy. False positive and negative results may occur. Cologuard is not a replacement for colonoscopy in high-risk patients. Do not use if you have had adenomas, have inflammatory bowel disease and certain hereditary syndromes, or a personal or family history of colon cancer.
Most insured patients pay $0. Ask your provider or an online prescriber if Cologuard is right for you, or visit Cologuard.com.
I'm in.
Guys, if you've noticed a lack of energy, motivation, and drive, it could be low T. Schedule that complete health assessment at the Low T Center. They offer the convenience of monitored, self-inject, at-home testosterone treatments for $155 a month cash pay, or covered by most health insurance. If you don't live near a Low T Center or you need the convenience of at-home treatment, Low T Center makes it easy. To get started, only your first 2 visits are in person. LowTCenter.com. Book now. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
The holiday season is right around the corner. So give the gift that's hard to wrap, but easy to give. Give them a STIHL. From powerful trimmers, blowers, and chainsaws under the tree to branded accessories stuffed in their stockings, the STIHL Holiday Gift Guide has something for everyone. Visit your local STIHL dealer or go to stihlusa.com/gift guide. Real STIHL. Find yours. Available at participating dealers while supplies last.
Hammer and Nigel here, inviting you to join us as we kick off the weekend every Friday around 5:45 with Beer Sample Friday, brought to you by our friends at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
More than 100 million wild animals are killed each year illegally. Poaching is a major threat to our country's wildlife. I'm Tom Barry. I'm an actor with a desire to preserve living space for wildlife. The Humane Society Wildlife Land Trust does just that. Works with private landowners to protect wildlife, to preserve natural habitats. To learn more or to work with the Humane Society Wildlife Land Trust, call 800-729-SAVE. That's 800-729-SAVE, or visit wildlifelandtrust.org. Thank you.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
What's at stake? Cloudy with some fog sticking around, 44 downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:30. Today, voters will decide who will head to the Senate from Georgia in a runoff election. Fox's Jessica Rosenthal.
This race won't decide the balance of power in the Senate. Democrats will have that even if Republican Herschel Walker wins. But if the Democratic incumbent Raphael Warnock wins, it not only means Vice President Kamala Harris is no longer needed to break ties, but it could lessen the power of Democrats like Senators Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema to push back against their own party. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
President Biden is in Phoenix today. That's where he and the founder of Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company will announce that the company will be opening a second chip plant. It's the biggest foreign investment ever in Arizona and one of the biggest in the history of the U.S. The factory currently under construction in Phoenix is expected to begin producing microchips by 2024. I'm Kurt Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
317-684-8444. That's the phone number. It is time to get to your voicemails. With Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Over the weekend, multiple people expressed the amount of joy they got over me losing my mind on U2 deciding to pick the Ramones and Nirvana on your Mount Rushmore of bands.
Yeah, we had a lot of phone calls about that yesterday.
And I guess there was one in the queue that you didn't get to. I mean, the majority of the correspondence that I've heard, both in person and via cellular, telephone, and email correspondence.
Let me guess, it said that you're right and we're wrong.
Well, it's not that I'm right. It's that just you two may have. I don't know what was going on with the both of you, but there was just an odd. And it's fine. Everybody's entitled to be wrong. It's fine.
Right.
I mean, this is America. You're still entitled to that. We're not Twitter. We don't censor, speech that we don't like. But I gathered that there was someone who finally called in defense of Kevin, saying Nirvana deserved to be on the same Mount Rushmore as the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, and Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, we had a lot of phone calls about it yesterday, and we didn't quite get to this one, and Kevin was a little bummed about it.
Yeah.
I said, you know what, let's skip down to the last phone call, and he said, wait, what?
Yeah, that one
down?
was next when he said that.
I know, because
really
he really wanted to play
Right.
this next phone call because it was somebody who was coming to Kevin's defense.
Well, let's hear it.
Okay.
Hey, guys, just wanted to let you know how much I enjoyed the talk about the music Mount Rushmore, and especially want to thank some of those old guys that called in complaining about Nirvana and what have you. I mean, they must have taken a lot of time out of their busy day of sitting on the front porch screaming at kids to stay off their lawn so they could get on the radio and sound like their parents did. So just wanted to give them a big shout out. Keep up the good work. Oh, yeah, by the way, I'm 55. Later.
Yeah, that guy seems pretty cool. I hope when I'm 55, I have that mentality. I like him.
All right. So we got a plethora of phone calls, some about the show yesterday. Let's get right into it. Somebody not a fan of ours.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure you won't put this on air, but that being said, normally your show with Rob is pretty boring, and now you have Brad, somebody who's with the Chamber of Commerce, is even more boring. And what does that mean about Casey could be on TV? I don't get that at all. Bye.
The end is always the bye. Have a nice day.
Yeah. Well, it's from a promo that says that we all have faces for radio.
Yes, except for you.
Except for me.
Which, if you look at the people who work here, it would be very clear why they said that. Now, I don't notice people's appearances, so this is harder for me to tackle than some other hosts here, but there is a reason they said that if you were to line us all up. The joy that is in that guy's heart, if you recognize that voice, and you see
was it you?
And you see that man out and about town, you hug him, you tell him you love him, you tell him, show us on the doll where the radio hurt you, because that is a guy that really needs someone in his life to bring him some cheer and some joy.
We're boring him.
Yeah.
We're boring him, but yet he took the time out of his day.
Yes.
To call and tell
Absolutely.
us that.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Okay, so somebody very upset about... did you guys get into the thing with Trump and the Constitution yesterday? Did you guys talk about that? I figured you must have.
About his Truth Social post?
Yes, because somebody called and was very, very upset.
Okay.
Hi, Kendall and Casey. I can tell you guys have never listened to a Trump speech because Trump has no intention of doing away with our Constitution. He plans to bring us back up under it as it was originally written. Have a good day, folks. Bye.
Okay, well, he's the one who truthed out that he wanted to terminate articles in the Constitution.
Yes, would be. So it's not...
Terminate.
Because the new thing is, well, Trump didn't say he wanted to terminate the whole Constitution.
Right.
But
part of it.
It's like, if you take out part of it, you kind of just taken out all of it, right? It's like...
You're changing the document. Yeah. But you've not only heard Trump speak...
I have.
You've personally had a conversation with him.
And look, I know that people can get pretty enamored with me on a first meeting, and I know I've got the general charm and charisma that has elevated me to this stature as a revered member of the Indianapolis media.
Mm-hmm.
So I want everybody to take that with a grain of salt. But here was Trump's analysis of me as a broadcaster.
Well, I really appreciate how nice you are, and you're terrific. I wish I could have every interview just like this. Okay, that would be a great dream. But you really, know what's happening. I mean, you understand it, you get it. You're not doing it because you like me or you dislike me. You see what's happening in the world, and you see what's happening with our country.
So you can't. I mean, that's what Trump said.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't say that I haven't listened or paid attention, because that was Trump's observation of me, and it seems like he really thought that I was paying attention. I think he specifically said that I was paying attention and I saw what was happening, and I wasn't doing it.
What's going on.
Right. I wasn't doing it because I like Trump. I was doing it because I know what's going on in the country. So I hate refuting our callers. I hate, making them look bad, but you can't say I didn't listen to a Trump speech when Trump said no one's really paying attention more than me. So
you're a great dream.
I'm a great dream.
Rob Kendall.
Well, I wish every interview could be just like this.
Yeah. Do we have more?
Yes, I think we have one more, and I just got so self-absorbed there I forgot what the phone call was, but I'm sure it's great. Go ahead, Kevin.
Keep up the good work on property taxes. I'm glad that somebody mentioned on the air about paying property taxes on time, so that subject can come up. Something needs to be done about it. The other thing we don't talk about is paying sales tax on a used car. How many times does a used car change hands before the state realizes a bundle of money off the sales tax? They just keep collecting over and over and over again.
Indiana's a very high-tax state, and the Republicans, to their credit, have done a phenomenal job in Indiana of two things. Number one, they have done a phenomenal job of convincing you that we are not a very high-tax state. I mean, if you look at all of our taxes collectively, like the presentation from Indiana Republicans is, we're like number 2 or 3 in the entire nation in terms of, you're lucky, it's New York City and us, right? And you're lucky to be on the side of liberty and freedom and limited government. When in reality, Indiana, when you add up all the taxes collectively, is middle or below middle of the pack, and we are below some Democrat states. We're not a bastion of liberty and freedom. We're not a bastion of limited government. We're not a bastion of low taxes. We're just some average big government state that has a lot of taxes. And the Republicans have done a phenomenal job of convincing you that we are low tax, and they have also done a phenomenal job of convincing you that if it weren't for us, you'd be paying really high taxes, when in reality you are paying really high taxes, but people keep buying it and voting for them. So it's the same reason we talked about, why would Joe Biden go to the border? Why would Joe Biden change anything he's done so far? Because it keeps working at the ballot box, and most of these people care about is getting reelected. So if you keep getting rewarded for bad behavior,
it's working out for him pretty well so far.
So every election cycle, when I tell you, you have to punish these people, and then you go, yeah, but the Democrats, and then you vote for them, the Republicans look at you and laugh at you and say, ha, 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 pay here now, please, thank you, because you're not going to do anything about it until you stop either leaving it blank or voting for a third party or punishing these people in primaries. They're going to keep doing this, and you calling here, I mean, I'm glad this guy's listening, and thank you, but I would ask this guy, what did you do the last year to do something different about it?
Right. Did you change your vote?
Absolutely. And
right.
and more important than did you change your vote, how many votes did you change with you?
Right.
They're not going to change. You know what they are, they being the Indiana Republicans. Look at the mailer. My supposed Republican senator
is asking you what to do with
what should you do with the money? Should I give it back to you or should I spend it?
Yeah.
As if these two things are the same.
Yeah.
In his world, my Republican senator, cowardly John Crane's world, spending and growing government is the same as giving you the money back they took that they didn't need to fund the government. There shouldn't be any discussion about this, but clearly there is a discussion about it. Clearly that is up for debate with Indiana Republicans. So unless you're willing to do something about it, then calling this radio station isn't fixing it.
And is John Crane really going to do?
No, he's not going to do anything.
What the majority says?
Well, he's going. No, yeah, absolutely. Well, he's going to.
If he gets all of the answers saying, "Give me my money back," is he really going to fight for that? Oh, I did the best I could.
The majority of Republicans go to the party bosses and say, what are we going to do? And then they do what the party bosses tell them to do. So the power lies with you. Indiana's not a low-tax state. Indiana's a high-tax state. We are not the beacon of the rest of this country. But until you're willing to do something about it, you're going to see the same results.
317-684-8444. That is the phone number if you would like to engage. It is Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Coming up on the Hammer and Nigel show, Emma Jo Morris reported on the Biden laptop for the New York Post. She'll join us for an update and thoughts on the Twitter email dump, plus Tuesdays with Tony Katz. It's 3 o'clock, 93 WIBC.
I'd rather be folding laundry.
This is gonna be fun.
Said no one ever. Also, no one enjoys wasting time in traffic. That's why we love saving you time. Matt Baird Traffic.
Backups are already starting.
On 93 WIBC.
Guys, this Christmas, give her the next best thing to wearing nothing at all. I'm talking about soft, silky, naturally nude pajamas, available exclusively at Pajamagram. They are sensuous and smooth. I'm talking naturally nude pajamas, feeling like her soft skin, more alluring than lingerie. The texture and touch of these PJs is very seductive. You're both going to love the feel of them. I know my wife does. She looks great in them. Order today, and Pajamagram will include a free matching naturally nude nightie. That's a $75 saving on a best-selling holiday gift.
Best of all, Pajamagram does the wrapping for you with free gift packaging. In a year filled with the unexpected, get her something she can count on. But you need to order today because last year they sold out before Christmas. So here's what you do. Go to Pajamagram.com right now. That's Pajamagram.com. Go there right now and order the naturally nude pajamas. Pajamagram.com. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
Come into Bell Tire today. You'll get the lowest tire price, period. Like $70 off a set of 4 Michelin tires. You'll also get a guy who will give you free lifetime flat repairs, tire rotations, and alignment checks. Get $70 off a set of 4 Michelin tires. Plus more free services and more out of your tires and more for your money. It's how we make the lowest tire price feel even lower at Bell Tire. See store and belltire.com for details and offer expiration.
Did you know that you need to winterize your roof? Let Moss Roofing be your first call. MossRoofing.com. Call Moss Roofing before winter hits. Damaged siding can create one big winter project that you do not want to deal with, especially in that frigid cold. Moss Roofing can inspect, repair, or replace damaged siding. They can also recommend downspout extensions or top-notch gutter guards if they see any red flags during the inspection. Let's talk insulation. Investing in and reinforcing your home's insulation with Moss Roofing can reduce your energy bills and keep you warmer this winter. Whether you need to install new insulation or replace your existing insulation, you can always turn to Moss Roofing. Moss Roofing will find the solution that works best for you and your budget. The expert inspectors from Moss Roofing can identify your unique needs. Whether you need winter-ready insulation, gutters, repairs, or a replacement, the Moss Roofing team will come up with a custom winterizing plan for you. Visit mossroofing.com to get your winter prep started today.
There's only one company that meets the gold standard in hair restoration and hair transplants. We Grow Hair Indy. Hey, it's Rob, and I'm here with Darren Andrews. Darren, people are coming from all over the world to We Grow Hair Indy to grow their hair back.
Hey Rob, it's great to be here. Yes, they are. And Rob, as you well know, we are very proud of the technology and the results at We Grow Hair Indy. We Grow Hair Indy is one of only 2 places in the entire US that offers both the Artist Robotic FUE and our trademark procedure, multi-unit hair grafting.
We Grow Hair Indy filled in my crown area and restored the hair on the top of my head. Call 888-724-5129 for a free evaluation. That's 888-724-5129 and grow your hair back. The one company that has the best technology and results. WeGrowHairIndy.com, the gold standard in hair restoration.
Hey, good morning. It's Casey, and let's talk about Galaxy Concrete Coating. From residential to industrial, their flooring products are designed for any application. They do high shine to slip resistant, and their floor coatings offer beauty and durability. They've been doing it since 1992, so you know that they're good. Their number is 317-751-9070, and they're online at galaxyconcretecoatings.com. Call them today, get a free quote, and they can transform your garage too.
Hey, it's Big Joe for your trusted local independent America Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, Reinhardt Heating and Cooling. Owner Danny Reinhardt's daughter, Kim, says her dad has a daily influence on the way customers are treated.
Dad's built a great business, and it's an honor to be able to keep carrying it on, and his work ethic and the way he treats customers. And that's something that I want to carry on and treat people the same way.
You can call on Reinhardt Heating and Cooling at 317-745-4526. Reinhardt is your trusted local independent America Standard dealer.
There's a lot of sexy content on the internet. And there's WIBC, full of faces meant for radio. Hammer and Nigel, Kendall and Casey. Okay, Casey could be on TV. Now streaming every day on YouTube. Go to youtube.com/WIBC.
Grandma got run over by a reindeer.
All right.
Hammer's in the studio. It is Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC, 1047.
Went from zero to festive pretty damn quick right there. All right.
Merry Christmas.
Can we go back to a second to that promo that played right before we came on? And I heard you guys talking about it earlier. Only Casey's got a face that's good enough to be on television. Let me point out, I got 2 damn TV shows.
It's true. I didn't even think about that.
Not 1, but 2. And I'm on TV every single day on Wish
Great
TV. So I'm on TV 7 days a week. But Queenie over here, Princess over here, is the only one that's allowed to be on camera, apparently.
You make it sound like I wrote that promo or something.
I think you did.
I did not.
I think you're colluding with the production department. I think the Russians may be involved, and Adam Schiff has the evidence.
This is misinformation. And clearly, I don't have a face for television as I am on the radio.
Yeah, but you used to be on TV.
Yeah, but not anymore. And Hammer's got the face for TV now.
Let's talk about that for a second.
Okay.
Because the amount of ugly people that are on television.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look, there are some beautiful people like Phil Sanchez who really, raise the collective. Like if we were to say 1 to 10, he raises everyone's average.
He takes time for his eyebrows. Like if you take time for your eyebrows, and nobody has a better brow game in the business than Phil Sanchez does. It's amazing.
You know who Phil Sanchez is? He's age in reverse guy. And it's Phil Sanchez and Tom Brady and my buddy Bart.
George Clooney. Put Clooney in that mix too.
They age in reverse, and there's no way. I am calling for a full-scale investigation of Phil Sanchez because there's no way that's natural.
What was that one Matt Damon movie where he gets younger as he gets older?
Yes. But there are some really, especially in the sports world, which is where, I kind of lump you into, there are some highly unattractive people on television, like Terry Bradshaw, Bill Cower. It used to be we wanted the beautiful people on there. The athletes were like the fit former athletes. Now it's just whatever. If you can talk about it. No offense, you're doing great on your show, and I'm happy for you, but
I feel like this is really like a major insult right here.
No,
it just feels like that's where it's coming.
I just think if you were being honest with yourself, and you are very entertaining, you're doing very well in your ratings, you're highly successful, but you're just going to say, I'm not on television. You're not Anthony Calhoun.
I'm not Anthony Calhoun. I don't have the hair of Dave Calabro. Right. I don't have the eyebrows of Phil Sanchez. But damn it, I'm on 7 days a week.
You are.
And I think that's something.
Yeah.
So that promo can kiss it.
Now, Casey, when you were on television, how much work did you put in each day before appearing on television?
Well, it's just a normal prep day, normal shower, do the hair, makeup.
You do your own. There's not somebody who does it for you.
Yeah, and that's a big misconception that a lot of people think, everybody on TV has all these makeup and wardrobe people. No, you're buying your own clothes. You're buying your own makeup. If you go to the makeup counter, you might get a tutorial. And there was an actual anchor who gave me some advice that I have since passed on to Hammer, and I don't know if you took that advice.
No, I did not.
Yeah. So, share tips and tricks. You're supposed to use the baby powder on your face to get that shine off of it. But yeah, it's just a normal. There's maintenance involved. Yeah, you got to be regular on your haircut and regular on your manicures.
Yeah. Did anybody ever tell you, hey, if you want to get Botox, I got a guy? Mm-hmm. Like, You know, because I'm thinking about that right now. Like, I really want my TV career to go next level, and I'm thinking, well, hot damn, I better get Botox.
What? You don't need Botox. You look great.
Well, thank you. I appreciate
Here's
that.
the problem I have with TV is all the work you got to put into it. Like, I am in radio because I wear the same thing every day, a hoodie and sweatpants of some sort.
Right.
And I am willing to take less money to not have to put any effort in. I did, what's that show Sanchez has at night? Unfiltered?
Unfiltered.
I did that show with him the other day, and we taped it in advance, and it was like 3:30 in the afternoon. And I realized at about 3:29, I have a shirt that says, "Friends don't let friends vote for bad Republicans" on, and I've got to find a shirt that fits because I had to find a collared shirt, and then do I iron it? It just seems like a lot of effort to have to be on television.
Yeah, the wardrobe part of it can be expensive as well because for the most part you're paying for your own clothes, and someone like Stephanie Mead, I bet she's got a closet full of dresses that she is purchasing because you don't want to wear the same outfit every single day. And, you know, guys like Pat McAfee or Kirk Herbstreit, you know, their outfits are looking good, right? They've got the pocket squares and everything.
Right.
So,
and each outfit is different for the type of show that you do. Phil Sanchez is expected to wear a tie. Like on my program, you can just wear a blazer and a shirt.
You don't even wear a shirt sometimes.
Yeah.
Right.
Shirtless.
I have gone bare chest and blazer before, and so has Scott Long.
Okay, so let's talk about something else that we do really well here, and that is radio, because the ratings came out and they're great again.
We are one of the most listened to news talk stations in America, and I have said this before, and I'm not just blowing smoke up people's backsides here. The loyal listeners of this radio station, it's unlike anything I've ever seen in my radio career. I have been hired and fired by pretty much everybody in this city. I have worked in country. I have worked in pop music. I've done like rock and roll.
Old hop-along hammer over here.
I'm telling you. And we've had success everywhere we've been. Just the nature of radio is usually you're hired to be fired.
Yes.
It's like you're a coach in sports. You know what the end game's going to be. But there's something about this station where I really do feel like this is kind of the golden age of WIBC in such a competitive media market, in such a blue county of Marion County. For us to do a conservative red show and to have the numbers we do speaks volumes to the people who listen every single day. And God bless them because they listen all day. They listen to Tony. They listen to you guys. They come back for Hammer and Nigel, and they even know our weekend crew. Like when we go out to do a night with WIBC, they know who the gun guy is. They know who Ethan Hatcher is and guys like that. So hat tip to everybody who makes this radio station part of their lives. We work hard to inform and entertain you, and all we ask is that you give us a listen.
And they are.
Yes.
And thank you for that.
Where would you have been if, let's say in August, I had told you that by December 6th, Hammer, the Pacers will be infinitely more interesting than the Indianapolis Colts?
I probably would not have believed you because all the experts said the Pacers were going to be one of the worst teams in the league. They were projected to be the second worst team in the Eastern Conference. And the Colts, they were projected to be the division winners. They were Vegas favorites to win the AFC South.
I don't know if you guys got into this yesterday because I was cleaning my house all day and doing various errands all day. Are you this way when you take a day off, you end up working harder on your day off than you do when you're here?
Oh, yeah, and it's all the coupon lady's fault.
Yeah.
Every bit of it. Like the list she will make me do, or even if it's just a Saturday, like after I come home from the TV show, okay, we've got 9 hours, we've got 87 things to do, let's go. Oh, man. Like the minute I walk through the door, you hear the keys jingle and the door comes open. It's, hey, hey, hey. So I did it.
The
Trust
honey-do
me.
list. You got to do stuff when you can.
And I feel like I'm getting taken advantage of in my house because...
Is Bruce making you do things?
Well, here's the thing. My wife knows that I have severe obsessive-compulsive disorder, and she knows I'm a hyper-motivated person, and she knows I can't ever just stand around or sit around and relax. So I feel like over the last several days, she has been allowing things to build up so that when she knew I would be home yesterday, I would do them. And she always does the thing like, do you need any help with that? When she knows that I don't like help. So she knows she's basically getting a free pass on this. Does Crystal do this?
She never asked me if I want any help. Let's make that perfectly clear.
She gives him the list and says, go.
And I don't know if any other husband and wife have the same type of situation. Like, if I try to help her with something,
You're doing it wrong.
I'm doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Like, in the kitchen, I'm a total liability. I have no business being in the kitchen doing anything. And when it comes to the household stuff, I don't know what it is, but I'm doing it wrong.
What's coming up this afternoon?
I don't know. We're going to get real drunk and see what happens.
Better notice Tuesday.
Throw some
Perfect.
darts against the wall and see what we want to do.
Thanks, Hammer. You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Walking home from our house Christmas Eve. People who suffer from arthritis are getting real pain relief with exciting biologic therapies at QC Kinetics.
The success rate is there, and there's no better way to treat yourself when it comes to dealing with pain.
Meet Tyler Vale, co-founder of QC Kinetics, who says they can't cure arthritis, but they can treat the pain.
If you think of the tide coming in and out on the beach and what it does, it erodes the sand, right? Can't stop the tide, but eventually when the sand or the beach gets bad enough, when we backfill that beach with sand so that we get generations of enjoyment with that beach again. And the same thing happens with your knee or your shoulder or your hip or your back. We want to backfill the problems that have happened to this point. I'm not stopping the tide, so I'm not stopping the arthritis, but I want to get generations of enjoyment out of those joints again.
Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation. Learn more about how restorative biologic therapies can get you real and lasting joint pain relief.
Call QC Kinetics 317-559-PAIN. That's 317-559-PAIN. 317-559-PAIN.
Inside Indiana Business Radio, the news you need to get ahead. Indiana's business news leader, weekdays at 6:32 a.m. and 5:56 p.m. on WIBC.
Downtown Indy, dressed in holiday style and adorned with bright lights and holiday sights all season long. Where friends visit Monument Circle with its best of lighting, audio and video presentations every night of the week. Make new memories while enjoying award-winning restaurants just steps away from your favorite attractions, sporting events, and performances. Come celebrate the season where it all began, downtown. Go to downtownindy.org/holidays for all the info. That's downtownindy.org/holidays.
The share it with a friend deal. Even if that friend is yourself. Your McDonald's, your rules.
$3 meals? Sounds 3 times as tasty. Choose from a crispy 6-piece McNuggets or juicy double cheeseburger and add small fries. All for only $3. Add any size soft drink for $1. Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit beefy, or even with type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Affordable term life insurance is out there. Call Term Provider and speak with Big Lou at 800-481-1458. 800-481-1458 or visit biglou.com. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds, too.
Guys, if you need an annual health exam, check out the Low T Center to get your complete health assessment. They'll check all of your levels, not just your T level. In most cases, it's completely covered by your health insurance. And if you don't have insurance, it's less than $100 for a full lab panel and office visit with the medical provider. And they give you a complete health assessment. Low T Center, specializing in men's health. Go to lowtcenter.com right now. Book online. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
Express the heartwarming message of Christmas this year and give her a diamond engagement ring from Pierce Jewelers that says, I love you. Remember, shop local, shop smart, shop Pierce Jewelers.
Your local news coming up in 2 minutes from the Shepherd Community Center studios after Fox News Radio. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 11 o'clock.
It's Election Day in Georgia. Again, I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. It is a Senate runoff.
It's getting harder and harder to put fuel in my vehicle and food on the table. And I attribute that all to the Democrats and Biden.
So she voted for Republican Herschel Walker, who's trying to unseat Raphael Warnock, who this man voted for.
I'm happy with what he's done so far in our Senate so far, and I like how he's carried himself and represented us in our community and the issues that I stand for.
If Warnock is reelected, Democrats will have a more powerful 51-49 Senate majority in the next Congress. In the current Congress,
lawmakers have agreed to strip out a military mandate for COVID-19 vaccines for service members from a defense policy bill lawmakers are trying to pass by the end of the year. The bill would not reinstate service members who were discharged or had benefits cut because of their refusal to get vaccinated.
Fox's Jared Halpern. There is an issue, though, with a similar defense funding bill in the Senate. Democrats are considering adding reforms to permits for pipelines and energy projects.
None of these have anything to do with our troops.
So Senator Tom Cotton says Republicans may have to block the bill. There's also a new attempt for this Congress to pass a bipartisan immigration reform bill. President Biden is on his way to Arizona. Asked before taking off,
Mr. President, why go to a border state and not visit the border? More importantly, no rules.
It's hard to hear his answer as why he didn't go to the border today, because there are a lot of other things going on, he said. In Phoenix, the president will again tout a new law incentivizing more U.S. computer chip manufacturing. In Colorado Springs, the accused gunman in last month's nightclub shooting just formally charged with murder and hate crimes.
Anderson Lee Aldridge, who doesn't identify as a man or a woman, is accused of opening fire at Club Q, killing 5 and injuring over a dozen others before being wrestled to the ground by patrons.
That's Fox's Jeff Manasso. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Some will be losing jobs. It's cloudy and 45 downtown. Still some fog sticking around. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:02. If you're an employee at FedEx Supply Chain, then you may be getting a notice of termination soon. Chris Davis reports.
That's because FedEx says they are closing their Indianapolis supply chain facility at Transfer Drive, and that means jobs will be lost. Ultimately, the potential is for 179 people to be out of work. But FedEx says they are actively trying to place their employees in other FedEx facilities. The reason they're closing, they say they're going to outsource this work. It's going to be a third party that's doing it, and they're going to move their operations to another facility in the U.S., though they haven't said where. Chris Davis, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Rain and cloudy skies are in the cards for much of the next week.
Over the course of the week, half-inch to maybe an inch of rain altogether across central Indiana. And again, as dry as we've been this fall, that's going to be very beneficial indeed.
Mike Ryan with the National Weather Service, he says that you should be ready to not see the sun for a little while. He says that the thick cloud cover is expected to stay put over much of Indiana for the next several days. Indy Metro Police will no longer respond to alerts from gunshot detectors in Indianapolis. Essentially, it's because their trial run with the new tech is over. Now it's time to analyze what they've learned.
How many alerts did we have? How many times did we find something? We went there. How many times did we have a positive interaction? How many times did we render aid?
Commander Matthew Thomas, he tells Wish TV they will still answer 911 calls about gunshots. The Indiana Pacers snapped a 3-game losing streak Monday night by beating the defending champions, the Golden State Warriors, 112-104.
Our guys played with a lot of presence to start the game. And, we were switching a lot, and everyone was tied together.
Pacers coach Rick Carlisle. The Pacers will be battling the Minnesota Timberwolves tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
This view was worth a hike.
Right? And it's a good way to stay on top of my health.
Yes. I'm Cologuard, a prescription colon cancer screening option for people 45 plus at average risk. Have you screened for colon cancer?
Not yet.
Don't wait. It's more treatable when caught in early stages.
Tell me more.
Cologuard is non-invasive and it's used at home. It detects altered DNA in your stool to find 92% of colon cancers.
92%?
Yep, even those in early stages.
This was seen in a clinical study with patients 50 and older. Any positive result should be followed by a diagnostic colonoscopy. False positive and negative results may occur. Cologuard is not a replacement for colonoscopy in high-risk patients. Do not use if you have had adenomas, have inflammatory bowel disease and certain hereditary syndromes, or a personal or family history of colon cancer.
Most insured patients pay $0. Ask your provider or an online prescriber if Cologuard is right for you, or visit Cologuard.com.
I'm in.
listening to Rob Kendall.
The Republican Party in Indiana sees zero problem in record spending, in record taxation.
And Casey Daniels.
You went out there and said, please vote for me. You debated other people on why you're the better person for the position. Suck it up.
This is the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Good morning. Today is Tuesday, December 6th. It is 6 minutes after 11. His name is Rob Kendall, and my name is Casey Daniels, and we're glad you're here today. We're going to start off this hour talking about Kirstie Alley. The actress, best known for her role as Rebecca Howe on the sitcom Cheers, has passed away. She was 71 years old. A statement was released saying that we are sad to inform you that our incredible, fierce, and loving mother has passed away after a battle with cancer.
So we were talking with Hammer after his segment, and he made a very interesting point.
Mm-hmm.
And the more I think about it, the more spot on he is. Cheers is one of the only shows you can think of where they switched major characters in the show. And not only did the show not suffer, I think most people will say it got better.
Yeah.
Woody Harrelson was probably better than Coach. And I think that Kirstie Alley was better
than Shelley Long.
Yeah. Now I know people. It's like Sammy Hagar or David Lee Roth. People are gonna have all sorts of opinions on that. But there are not many shows that you can think of where major central characters, in the case of Cheers, not once but twice, were switched out, and the thing just kept rolling like a freight train, which is a tribute to the talent of those people.
She has been in a lot of different movies. Look Who's Talking, the whole franchise.
Yeah.
Drop Dead Gorgeous. Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. Summer School. Didn't realize that until,
with Mark Harmon. You know Mark Harmon's greatest role? He played Ted Bundy in the television miniseries.
For Richer for Poor.
You just skipped right over that. I figured you would have been like, wow, did you even know he had played Ted Bundy?
No.
When I was a kid, my parents had it and taped it, and I used to watch it all the time, and I thought that was what Ted Bundy actually looked like. And then it was not until I was older that I actually realized that was not what Ted Bundy actually looked like. Mark Harmon was fabulous. This must have been in the 80s that he played Ted Bundy, and he was phenomenal as Ted Bundy. And nothing from you, not even, wow, I didn't know that, or that's really interesting. Just nothing. I've
actually seen the house that Ted Bundy lived in, and it's kind of creepy. It was like the tour when I first got to Tallahassee, and that's the house.
Yeah.
And
but what does that have to do with
the stairs on the side? I don't know.
But what does that have to do with the random fun fact I just presented to you that Mark Harmon played? Just nothing.
What does that have to do with Kirstie Alley?
Because you mentioned Summer School, which starred Mark Harmon. Yes, Kevin.
So let me get this straight. You used to watch a Ted Bundy movie religiously.
Not religiously, but every so often. And you know who else played a great serial killer? Was Brian Dennehy, played John Wayne Gacy, also in a television miniseries in the, whatever that was, late 80s or early 90s. Also phenomenal. And I, again, thought that's what John Wayne Gacy looked like until I realized that it was...
It's the actor playing.
Yes. Nothing on either one of those. Okay, great.
No.
Carry on. Go ahead.
Kirstie Alley's an Emmy winner. She won a Golden Globe. And latest performance, well, of course, she was a spokesperson for Jenny Craig.
That's right.
Yeah. And lost a lot of weight doing that. And then as soon as she stopped being the spokesperson, she gained a lot of it back. And she was on some reality TV shows as well, Dancing with the Stars, Celebrity Big Brother, The Masked Singer.
Isn't it interesting, too, how for so many of these people, like if you were, and you've been in the entertainment industry, Casey, so you know how this works. You've been a manager, you've been a television star, you've done it all. But like, okay, if I'm Kirstie Alley, and I get everybody's got to get paid, but you were an integral part of one of the most epic TV shows ever, right? So you're on this pedestal. And I'm always amazed then at the roles that what I picture as high-profile celebrities will take later on. Like Kelsey Grammer, okay, he transitioned into Frasier,
right?
And he's done some movies. Some of them were hits, some of them were not. But he did the TV show Boss, which is phenomenal. Still should be on the air. He played the mayor of Chicago. He was great. But you never picture Kelsey Grammer as doing like My Celebrity Big Brother episode 37. Like you just don't.
Right.
It seems like many of these people towards the end, they just start doing random things.
and it kind of, in a weird way,
diminishes.
It diminishes. Yes, that's the word I'm looking for. Because
success.
you were so great on these shows, and then you just stop. You're doing stuff that it just seems like it's beneath you. I don't know. Maybe that's a terrible way to look at it.
Well, she was a working actress, so she needed to make money.
I guess.
Or she didn't need to make money and just did it out of passion for the industry.
Yes, somebody in the YouTube chat also pointed out Kelsey Grammer's greatest role, Sideshow Bob on The Simpsons.
Oh.
Phenomenal as Sideshow Bob, yes.
Yeah. What was your favorite role of Kirstie Alley?
Well,
was it Cheers?
Well, maybe, but here's the thing. Summer School is one of the more forgotten great little movies that you may or may not have seen. And I also, when I was a kid, especially like in junior high, in the summers, I would just watch Comedy Central nonstop. They would have Dr. Katz, Professional Therapist. They would have The Critic with John, reruns of all these shows. You've seen Dr. Katz, Professional Therapist. I know, based on the way you responded to that you've not only seen it, you know what a great show it is. Don't know. You can't even, because you know.
Keep going. Your
Yes.
favorite. That's your fave?
No. I was just saying. And then, so I used to watch Comedy Central during the summer, during summers when I was like in junior high school, and they would play Summer School quite a bit as their movie after they would get through their cartoons and repeats or whatever.
Edited for television.
Now, why were you smiling and nodding when I said Dr. Katz, Professional
Because
Therapist?
It's ridiculous.
You've never seen it?
No.
Oh my gosh.
Sounds ridiculous.
It was Katz was the guy's real last name, and it was a terribly drawn cartoon in the mid to late 90s where he was a therapist and various celebrities, also drawn terribly,
would come and
sit on his
the
couch.
Okay.
And it was voiced by the real celebrities and all these people. And this was like in the early days before everything was on the internet, so you realized what all degenerate pervert weirdos these people all are, and they would basically admit it to him on the couch.
But it was under the guise that they were this character on the couch.
No, they were playing
being
themselves.
drawn.
It was like so-and-so would, like, I don't know. I think I'm trying to pick people who I think were on the show. And if it's wrong, I'm sorry. But like, I think Dave Attell would be on the couch talking to this guy as Dave Attell.
Yeah.
I can't believe you've never seen this.
But it was a cartoon?
It was it was a terribly drawn cartoon. Like, if you think the original South Park was drawn bad,
Yeah.
these are even worse than the original South Park drawings. And this guy, Katz, lived with his adult son, who was also a total zero. You have to watch Dr. Katz, Professional Therapist. It was one of the worst shows ever.
One of the best worst
Yeah.
shows. Now, have you seen Kirstie Alley in Drop Dead Gorgeous?
No.
You've never seen this movie?
That's a woman movie. Why would I watch that?
Came out in 1999. It was a comedy, actually, and I think she played the part of Gladys Lehman, and Allison Janney was in it, and some other young, beautiful actress was in it. Hilarious movie, and here's a part of Kirstie Alley from that.
Do you think that most people would say that teenage beauty pageants are a good idea?
Oh, yeah, sure. I know what some of your big city no-bra wearing, hairy-legged women libbers might say. They might say that a pageant is old-fashioned and demeaning to the girls.
What sick is women dressing like men?
You betcha, Iris. No, I think you boys are going to find something a little bit different here in Montrose. For one thing, we're all God-fearing folk. Every last one of us. And you will not find a back room in our video store. No, that filth is better left to the Sin Cities.
Kirsten Dunst was the actress who also played in that
yes.
movie. It is Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Good morning.
Hammer and Nigel.
A poll of 2,000 Americans, Hammer, found people who enjoy spicy food are more likely to think they're hot.
Okay.
62% of spicy food lovers find themselves attractive.
And that makes sense because I enjoy spicy food, and hot damn am I sexy.
Hammer and Nigel, weekdays 3 till 7 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
Greetings from R&R Agency, your Indiana health insurance pros. And a thank you to our loyal customers for making our agency a national sales leader for the 7th straight year. We recently saved a family of 4 over $500 monthly when compared to their ACA plan. You know it's still Obamacare, right? We recently saved a 61-year-old retiring couple over $600 when compared to their COBRA plan. Breaking news. We are now able to offer health insurance to employer groups of all sizes with two of the largest insurers in the Midwest. We've been in the same location with the same phone number for 27 years. We'll be here when you need us. Quoting my favorite president, what in the heck do you have to lose? Call me at 317-435-1718 or go to rragency.org. That's 317-435-1718 or rragency.org. Don't let the federal government or their big insurance company cronies tell you that you don't have a choice. We can help. As always, God bless America, or at least what's left of her.
Over the years, many WIBC listeners have found a home at Life Church, and this Sunday, Life Church would love the opportunity to welcome you and your family. You know Life Church, that's where a friend of the show, Pastor Micah Beckwith, preaches. You heard him on the program earlier today. Life Church has campuses across central Indiana, Noblesville, Fishers, Eagle Creek, and Pendleton, in addition to online services. So this Sunday, if you're looking for a new church home or even a first church home, please consider checking out Life Church. Learn more at lifechurchin.com.
If you run a small business, you need the most from every investment. That's why Comcast Business gives you more. Like more innovation with our new gig speed Wi-Fi, plus unlimited data. More speed from the largest, fastest, reliable network for small businesses. And more savings, up to 60% a year with Comcast Business Mobile. All from the company that powers more businesses than any other provider. When you need more, you need Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Get started with internet and advanced security for just $40 per month for 12 months with no annual contract when you add mobile. Plus, ask how to get a $750 prepaid card with a qualifying gig bundle. Ends 1/1/2023. Restrictions apply. Actual speeds vary. Compare pricing of top carriers. Requires EcoBill and AutoPay. Comcast Business Internet required. New Comcast Business 100 megabits per second internet and security edge customers only. Equipment taxes and other fees extra and subject to change. Must add mobile within 90 days of internet install and keep services for 12 months for discount. Results vary. Not an endorsement.
Pierce Jewelers has the perfect sparkle to put under the tree this Christmas. So don't be a Grinch. Spoil your loved one with a little blue box from Pierce Jewelers in Carmel.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
That guy's brain is a bag full of cats. You can smell crazy on him.
And Casey Daniels.
If she were a president, she'd be Abraham Lincoln.
On 93 WIBC.
So disgraced lawyer Michael Avenatti has been sentenced to 168 months in prison for 4 counts of wire fraud. It's a 14-year sentence. In addition to the 5 years he's currently serving for other charges, including stealing almost $300,000 in book advance money from his then client, Stormy Daniels.
Repeat that. Can you repeat that sentence again? Just the last sentence.
He's got 5 years. He's got other charges, including stealing almost $300,000 in book advance money from his then client, Stormy Daniels.
Okay,
Is that what you wanted?
Yes. That is the most 2022 thing ever, that a guy who the Democrats once wanted to run for president is now heading to the pokey for 14 years, in part of which he will be serving because he stole money from a book deal with an adult film star.
Mm-hmm.
That's totally the most 2022 thing ever.
But he was so wonderful.
Well, okay. So here's a little montage of the Democrat liberal members of the media openly yearning for Hottie Avenatti, as he was known back then, to be the face of everything, the run for president.
Right.
Here's a little montage.
He's out there saving the country.
Don Meacham says he may be the savior of the republic.
You are something of a folk hero now.
I owe Michael Avenatti an apology. I've been saying enough already, Michael. I've seen you everywhere. What do you have left to say? I was wrong, brother. You have a lot to say.
I am just dying to hear what you think.
These people all like you.
I'm the only person right here Donald Trump fears more than Robert Miller.
We think you guys are the tip of the spear that's going to take down Donald Trump.
Michael Avenatti's a beast.
Okay, that's true.
And
he's a beast.
He's a beast.
I hand it to her, and I hand it to Michael Avenatti.
But he has a bigger calling here. That being a lawyer is minimal compared to what he's doing.
No one has talked tougher directly to Donald Trump on TV than Michael Avenatti, and Donald Trump is afraid to mention his name. That's fascinating.
So there are two components to this. One is that the Democrats, the liberal members of the media, desperately wanted this guy to run for president.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a time where someone running for president held some sort of prestige, right, in the public's mind or lexicon, like so-and-so ran for president, even if they didn't win. Like you pictured, even if people ran and they didn't win, you pictured them being like, in 1996, Richard Lugar ran for president. Didn't win, wasn't close, didn't win the Republican primary. But wow, Richard Lugar is an esteemed senator who once ran for president of the United States. There is clout and gravitas with that statement. Think about how quickly we have devolved as a society where this complete scumbucket with no vetting whatsoever was on every media appearance he made, for the most part, touted, promoted as someone who could ascend to the highest level of governance in this country for no reason other than he was openly mean to Donald Trump.
Well, he was seen as the media darling, right? He was the hero David to Donald Trump's Goliath. He wasn't afraid to say things, but it was a game to him. He was always using the media since the very beginning, before he was a lawyer. I don't know if you've seen it. It's a show on Netflix called Pepsi, Where's My Jet? Yeah, and it's a whole story about Pepsi and how they aired a commercial back in the 80s where if you collected points...
Oh, yes, Dan Dockich was talking about this the other day.
Yeah, and you could win a jet. And the kid who actually got all the points to win the jet wanted his jet. And Michael Avenatti got involved in this. So if you wanted to see early days of what he was like, he was creepy back then, even before he was a lawyer. The show, it's called Pepsi, Where's My Jet? It's on Netflix. But he got what he deserves. And he said, I cared about these people. I helped them and fiercely advocated for them, yet I later took from them.
Well, sure, he later took.
No kidding.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Of course he took from them because that's what he did. The guy's a total shyster and a scumbag. But there's a bigger part of this, too, which is not just Michael Avenatti and the fact that the Democrats, these are the sort of people that they throw out there because the only requirement they have is whether you're mean to Donald Trump or not. I mean, there was nothing about Michael Avenatti that you would say, wow, that is a person who has shown a level of governance or a level of understanding of the economy or has, in business. There was absolutely nothing about Michael Avenatti other than the fact that he was articulate in his meanness to Donald Trump. Mm-hmm. But that's what the Democrats are looking for. They weren't looking for serious people, which is clear based on the guy they nominated for president. But then it comes back to the conversation we've been having all day, Casey, which is if the voters don't demand serious people have serious solutions to serious problems, then the politicians are not going to be that because all the politicians care about is being politicians. Republicans do it too, though, where we fall in love with people based on nothing other than I think, or I've seen, or I want to believe. I mean, in 2008 and 2012, the Republicans nominated, or were trying to nominate, or this person was running for president in the sense of 2012 was Rick Perry. Mm-hmm. And remember, oh my gosh, all these candidates are terrible. It's Romney and Ron Paul and Huckabee, and these people are all terrible. But there's this governor out there in Texas, and if he'll just run, everything will be great. And he waits and waits and waits and waits and gets in, and within 3 weeks, he's forgetting his own policies and going, oops, on national television. Fred Thompson, same thing in 2008. Oh, McCain's terrible, and Ron Paul's terrible, and this guy's terrible. If only Fred Thompson would get in. Yeah, but that guy's been out of the game for years. He's been in Law and Order. Doesn't matter. He'd be great. Gets in there within 2 or 3 weeks. He's at like 3% in the polls. We fall in love with ideas rather than reality. And fantasy political booking and total apathy from the public at large creates disastrous governance.
It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Can we talk about Dr. Fauci? Do we have to? Well, he was deposed under oath by state GOP attorneys General Eric Schmidt and also Jeff Landry. It was part of their lawsuit against the Biden administration. The two AGs have accused government officials of working with Twitter, YouTube, and Meta Facebook under the guise of combating misinformation. This is all part of the censorship viewpoints on COVID that went against the Biden administration's position. Okay, so during this deposition, he said, I don't recall 174 times. He didn't recall critical COVID decisions during the deposition. And during this, he asked a court reporter to wear a mask after she sneezed.
All right, let's take a break. Because when we come back, I want to play some audio from Fauci, and he was asked if he had any regrets about his career. And I want to talk about, again, not one but two times, Fauci and Fauci's guidance or leadership or whatever word you want to use created major problems for many people. And yet, when he's going out the door saying, he didn't regret those things at all.
No regrets, not a single letter. All right, that's coming up from 93 WIBC.
Did you know that you need to winterize your roof? Let Moss Roofing be your first call. MossRoofing.com. Call Moss Roofing before winter hits. Damaged siding can create one big winter project that you do not want to deal with, especially in that frigid cold. Moss Roofing can inspect, repair, or replace damaged siding. They can also recommend downspout extensions or top-notch gutter guards if they see any red flags during the inspection. Let's talk insulation. Investing in and reinforcing your home's insulation with Moss Roofing can reduce your energy bills and keep you warmer this winter. Whether you need to install new insulation or replace your existing insulation, you can always turn to Moss Roofing. Moss Roofing will find the solution that works best for you and your budget. The expert inspectors from Moss Roofing can identify your unique needs. Whether you need winter-ready insulation, gutters, repairs, or a replacement, the Moss Roofing team will come up with a custom winterizing plan for you. Visit mossroofing.com to get your winter prep started today.
Hey, good morning. It's Casey, and let's talk about your retirement dreams. So you had a solid retirement plan. You're going to sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and possibly travel. But inflation and the recession has you wondering if all of your hard-earned equity is still going to be there. What if you could recession-proof your equity right now? You can with Truehold. Truehold will buy your home for its best current value before a recession can erode it. You get to bank all that cash now and live in your home for as long as you want. And Truehold covers all of your property taxes. Visit Truehold.com and discover how much Truehold will pay for your home today based on its best current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. It's the smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without having to move. Truehold.com.
Thanks, Bob. Well, today's forecast is a chiller. Looks like we can see record lows in the living room and the dining room, while the kitchen is going to stay cold until late in the evening. All three bedrooms will be freezing, with only occasional warmth from the fireplace to provide little relief.
Living room turning into an icebox? We'll be right there. At 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning, we're
always on time, or you don't pay a dime.
Call 855-1HOUR or visit onehourheatandair.com. Each location independently owned and operated. Licensed in their respective state or county.
With inflation on the rise, you may be charging more to your credit card. But be careful. That increased debt can cause your credit score to suffer.
Don't get stuck with a low credit score and a mountain of high-interest credit card debt. Call Golden Oak Lending now.
Refinance with our low rates to wipe out your high-interest credit card debt and put extra cash in your pocket. Call 317-706-GOLD.
Golden Oak Lending cured my blues.
NMLS 114937.
Just 3 words tell you everything you need to know. They tell you why we employ more than 2,000 workers at our factory in Virginia Beach, and why over 10,000 local steel dealers are putting battery power in the hands of Americans. Just 3 words. Made in America. Real steel. Find yours at steelusa.com. The majority of steel products sold in America are made in America of U.S. and foreign materials. Batteries and chargers are sourced internationally.
Inside Indiana Business Radio, the news you need to get ahead. Indiana's business news leader, weekdays at 6:32 a.m. and 5:56 p.m. on WIBC.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
A big decision. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:30.
Georgia voters are deciding their Senate runoff election between Democratic Senator Raphael Warnock and Republican Herschel Walker today. While Democrats narrowly secured control of the Senate in the new Congress, the stakes are high as the party looks to get a 51-seat majority. Republicans already control the House. Recent polls have shown a tight race, with Warnock narrowly leading Walker. The recent release of Twitter's internal communications regarding the censoring of the New York Post's Hunter Biden laptop story has Republicans up in arms.
Evidence of corruption that goes to the highest level of government.
Senator Ted Cruz says this is proof that big tech is censoring conservatives. Twitter owner Elon Musk is promising a second round of releases, though an exact date wasn't given. He teased more smoking guns are on the way. I'm Kurt Darling on The Level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
The Louisiana Attorney General Jeff Landry says the public is going to be shocked when it learns how little Dr. Fauci could recall during last week's deposition about some of the most important actions and discussions when he was the chief medical advisor to Trump and Biden during the pandemic.
Yeah, and look, here's another example, again, of the truth. We have created a society where the truth doesn't matter. It's whatever the narrative is, and we, so many of us, just mindlessly go along with the narrative. And the reality for Fauci is, just because you've been somewhere a long time doesn't mean you are good at it. To me, we know who's good at things and who aren't on how they behave under crisis, right? Why is Michael Jordan one of the greatest basketball players of all time, if not the greatest basketball player of all time? Because he always seemed to come up big in the big moment, right?
Even during the flu game.
Right.
One of his best ever.
In the case of Anthony Fauci, yes, he was somewhere forever, but there were two major crises that presented themselves in the Fauci's time in this very important position: AIDS and HIV and COVID. And in both cases, AIDS and HIV and COVID, he made almost the exact same mistake, which was foolhardily focusing on an imaginary vaccine which did not exist and was not anywhere close to existing on any sort of level of reliably preventing the thing in question from happening. It still hasn't happened with AIDS and HIV. They made major strides on that, but there is still not a full-blown vaccine. And it certainly hasn't happened with COVID, in which you can get a vaccine, but it doesn't prevent you from getting COVID, as we clearly know. And in both cases, Fauci was focusing on these the invention of these non-existent vaccines versus therapeutics and dealing with the thing in question. AIDS and HIV has not become a death sentence anymore because the focus on, treating it, and people have been able to live long, happy, relatively healthy lives to the point where it's almost non-existent on tests, or not completely non-existent on tests in some people. Same thing with COVID. People have done better when they're treated right with COVID, but it wasn't a vaccine that prevented people from getting COVID. And yet, instead of just laughing at this guy and shaming him on his way out the door, we as a collective put him up on some sort of pedestal. And he got asked in an interview about if he has any regrets. And if you would think you've colossally blown it on not one but two major crises in your existence, you would say, yeah, I really regret blah, 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 blah. Nope.
No.
Take a listen.
Yasmin, no. And I know people are going to respond to that. Who say, well, what does he think? He's perfect? Absolutely. I'm the first to admit I'm far from perfect. But when you say do over, I really can't see something that I would do completely over.
Nothing. It's all good here. He's going to retire at the end of the month. And people like Rand Paul have said that they want to investigate him and see how much gain of function research is because of him.
Yeah.
And if that leaked. And Fauci said on Monday, when talking to Americans, one thing, he wouldn't change it, but one thing that he learned is that when talking to Americans, be clear that science is often a moving target.
Yeah.
So here's the guy who has increased his net worth by $5 million in the past couple of years.
Isn't that amazing?
Since 2019.
Isn't that amazing how many people get rich in the government? All right, Casey, we need something to lighten the mood here on this show. And John Kennedy, he's a senator from Louisiana. He was campaigning for Herschel Walker yesterday. The Georgia Senate runoff vote is today.
Yeah.
And he was having himself a good old time. And I said, this show needs an uplift. And nothing is going to uplift this show like hearing John Kennedy talk about just stupid people in the Democrat Party.
These woke, high IQ, stupid people, they're easy to recognize. They hate George Washington. They hate Thomas Jefferson. They hate Dr. Zeus, and they hate Mr. Potato Head. These woke, high IQ, stupid people, they walk around with Ziploc bags of kale that they can eat to give them energy. Now, if you want to eat kale, that's up to you. I don't eat kale. You know why? Because kale tastes to me like I'd rather be fat. And these high IQ stupid people, the wokers in charge in Washington, D.C., the berserk wing of the Democratic Party, they hyperventilate on their yoga mats if you use the wrong pronoun. They're all over Washington, D.C.
He's also, besides telling you how he feels about kale, urging Georgia voters to pick Herschel Walker instead of high IQ people.
More from Senator Kennedy, because he's great.
So I want you to go vote. I want you to go vote. Did I mention I want you to go vote? Look at it this way, folks. If dead people can do it, so can you. God bless you.
Well, whoever wins is going to be the first black person elected from the state to a full Senate term in Georgia. And how long do you think before we'll know the results of that race?
Oh, it just depends
24
on
hours,
how creative the Jelly Bean
24
County
days.
has to get. Who knows? I want to think that people will do the right thing, but I don't know. It doesn't look very good for Herschel Walker. And if it isn't, then I will have been wrong. And it's very rare that I'm ever wrong, Casey. So I really need them to come through here tonight.
Okay, so before we leave, quickly, let's touch on how Taylor Swift fans are deciding to sue Ticketmaster following their fumbled pre-sale. This is according to the complaint. Fans are suing for damages because from fraud and price fixing, but Ticketmaster apologized. So isn't everything okay?
I don't understand how you can be harmed if they didn't take your money. I'm not sure exactly. Somebody, a man of the law. Maybe we can ask Abdul about this on Thursday. I'm not exactly sure how you can be harmed. And by the way, you didn't have to go to the Taylor Swift concert. You should be giving them money. They kept you from having to go to the Taylor Swift concert. You should be throwing dollars at Ticketmaster. Thank you. Thanks for all you've done.
Well, in regards to Ticketmaster and being upset with them, well, stand in line. They've been doing this for 30 years.
Yeah, remember the good old days?
This isn't new.
Remember the good old days where you used to have to camp out for, the night before, pitch your tent at, midnight, record store opens at, 8 a.m. to get in there and be first in line. Kevin knows what I'm talking about. He's nodding in agreement.
Oh, I remember those days.
You do not. I barely remember those days.
The Ticketmaster website has always been bad. Eddie Vedder from Pearl Jam and U.S. Congress in the 90s, they couldn't resolve it back then. What? And now the Taylor Swift fans are saying, well, you've never met Taylor Swift fans before. So
I've met Taylor Swift fans before.
Hey, good luck, Taylor Swift fans. If they think they can take Ticketmaster down, then...
Here's the deal. When 20 million people want something, and there's only 2 million of something available, it's going to be really hard to get it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what's coming up?
So when we come back, there's a big event coming up at Gainbridge Fieldhouse on the 15th of December, and it is the Christian music group King and Country. These guys, two brothers, Joel and Luke Smallbone, they're amazing. They've won Grammys. People love them. They're awesome. And one of them, Joel Smallbone, going to be with us when we come back to talk about playing at Gainbridge Fieldhouse.
Perfect. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Coming up on the Hammer and Nigel show, Emma Jo Morris reported on the Biden laptop for the New York Post. She'll join us for an update and thoughts on the Twitter email dump, plus Tuesdays with Tony Katz. It's 3 o'clock, 93 WIBC.
Hey, we're pretty social people at WIBC. You can find us all over social media. See what we're up to on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, and on YouTube. We're never more than just away. Just search for 93 WIBC.
Feel like you're riding an economic roller coaster? All the whiplash has likely wreaked havoc on your investment portfolio, maybe even derailing your future plans. It's unpredictable, uncertain, and unsettling. It's time to regain your footing with a second opinion from Edelman Financial Engines. We're Barron's #1 rated independent financial advisory firm 5 years running. So you can be confident you're getting integrated wealth management advice, including tax planning, estate planning, insurance, and more from an experienced and trusted investment advisory firm. Take advantage of a complimentary wealth checkup with a planner who puts your needs first. There's no sales pressure and no obligation. When it comes to your financial well-being, you can count on the top-rated independent financial advisory firm in the nation. Visit Edelman Financial Engines at EFEWealthPlanners.com. That's EFEWealthPlanners.com. Barron's rating awarded annually each September 2018 to 2022. Compensation paid for distribution of rating.
Let's face it, the housing market has shifted. The Indiana Board of Realtors report home sales are down 11% from this time last year. But you can still sell your home for a great price with the one agent I trust with selling my home, Mark Dietl. Maybe you're worried because your home needs costly repairs or upgrades. With Mark Dietl, there are no required costly repairs. Pick your move date. Stay in your home after the sale stress-free while you close your dream home. There are no long-term contracts, and you can cancel at any time. Listen to what Melinda in Indianapolis had to say about working with Mark Dietl. Kids were gone, and it was time to downsize into a more manageable place. I called Mark Dietl, and they over-delivered beyond my expectations. My home wasn't an easy sale, but Mark was relentless and sold it in weeks at the price I needed. Mark Dietl is a blessing. Call the only agent I recommend and trust. Mark Dietl guarantees an offer in 3 days for full market value or it's listed for free. Call Mark Dietl at 317-755-4232 or go online to markdietl.com. That's Mark, DIETEL.com.
Guys, if you've noticed a lack of energy, motivation, and drive, it could be low T. Schedule that complete health assessment at the Low T Center. They offer the convenience of monitored, self-inject, at-home testosterone treatments for $155 a month cash pay, or covered by most health insurance. If you don't live near a Low T Center or you need the convenience of at-home treatment, Low T Center makes it easy. To get started, only your first 2 visits are in person. LowTCenter.com. Book now. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
People here are raving about QC Kinetics and how regenerative medicine has changed their life. People like Helen, an avid mountain climber who got sidelined when an accident left her knees in constant pain.
I was not able to train or do really anything on my knee.
Helen was told surgery would be her only option. But then she found QC Kinetics and was treated with natural biologics designed to repair and restore tissue in her knees. 3 months later, she was climbing the highest mountain in North America.
I got a very quick resolution to my pain. I began treatment in March, and I summited Denali June the 7th. It was super successful, and I recommend everyone seek out QC Kinetics as an alternative to surgery.
Get your life back with lasting results. No surgery, no drugs, no downtime. Call QC Kinetics today.
Call QC Kinetics, 317-559-PAIN. That's 317-559-PAIN. 317-559-PAIN. That's 317-559-PAIN.
Hey, we're pretty social people at WIBC. You can find us all over social media. See what we're up to on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, and on YouTube. We're never more than just away. Just search for 93 WIBC.
Child, child, sleeping in the night, he will bring us goodness and light. He will bring us goodness and light.
93 WIBC, it is the Kendall and Casey Show. I'm Rob. Casey's here. There is a big event, big music event coming up December 15th at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. and it is with the group For King and Country. They are doing their Drummer Boy Christmas, the 2022 tour experience. And man, if you haven't heard of King and Country, they are Christian artists who are taking the industry by storm. They've won 4 Grammys. They're nominated for the 2023 Grammy for Best Contemporary Christian Music Performance and Song for their hit single, For God Is With Us. And joining us now on the DriveHubler.com hotline is Joel Smallbone of For King and Country. Joel, how's it going, man?
Oh, top of the morning to you. Man, we're like full swing in the Christmas season, aren't we? Like I don't know where it came from, but I was driving around Nashville, Tennessee, where we live the other day, and I was like, the Christmas lights are up, people are singing carols, Santa Claus is showing up. It's a whole thing. So, man, we are kids in a lolly shop, as they say in Australia, to be hitting the road. 15 dates. You are the third to last show of the whole tour, and so we're finishing strong. And this is one of our favorite tours of the year, Rob. So we're really thrilled to be coming your way.
Now, Joel, tell us a little bit about your group, because I've told multiple people that I was interviewing you today, and people were losing their minds. Tell us about For King and Country and how you guys have just kind of taken the world by storm.
Well, it's kind of you to say. We are an Australian export, if you will. Our dad, music was always a part of our life growing up. Our dad was a concert promoter, so he'd bring artists and bands down to Australia, Sydney Opera House and the whole thing. And he was sort of financially disgraced in Australia, so packed 16 suitcases. He and my mum, 16 suitcases, 6 kids, one on the way, sort of the Australian version of Von Fat Family. We moved halfway around the world to America. We started over. Our sister became an artist, Rebecca St. James, sort of a gospel Christian artist for years. And Dad needed cheap labor, so as teenagers, we became the road crew, all of us sons. And then Luke is the brother just under me, who we didn't get along growing up, but music really brought us back together. We started a duo that ultimately became The King and Country, and we just celebrated 10 years of officially being at it together. So we're proud, and man, it's just been a beautiful journey. We're very proud to be part of the American sort of musical team here, if you will, based out in Nashville. Love the heartbeat behind Nashville music and the creativity of country music as well, and partnered with a lot of country acts. And so it's been a great journey that has led us all the way to the Kendall and Casey show.
Yeah, we love having you guys on. Joel Smallbone is our guest. He's with the group For King and Country. They're going to be playing. It's a part of their Drummer Boy Christmas, the 2022 tour experience at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Now, that is not a small venue. I mean, you're talking tens of thousands of people that are going to be there. What is it like to, and you guys do this night in and night out, what is it like to play in front of all those people every single night?
Well, let me ask you a question, Rob. Do you ever have the imposter syndrome thing where, like, you show up and you go, well, what are people really listening to me? Or, like, do you have that thing ever show up?
Well, here's what's interesting, Joel, is the fact that in radio, we know that people are listening, right? We see the ratings. Right. We know people are listening, but I don't have to look at them. Like, I get in front of 10 people and I get nervous, even though there's tens of thousands of people listening, but I don't have to see them. You have to see them, my friend.
Well, I had maybe a similar experience to you then, just last week, because we started the tour last week, right, or week before last, right after Thanksgiving, where we hadn't done a show for about 3 months because we've been working on a feature film that we're part of. And so with the first night, and there was 8,000 people there the first night, there was 12,000 people there the second night in Kansas City and Dallas. And I literally showed up, to your point, Rob, and I had this very distinct feeling of like, what on earth are you all doing here? Like, it's just us, guys. And so to answer your question directly, it's an outrageous feeling. You know, the fact that, you know, tens of thousands of people would put petrol in their cars or, you know, and grab a ticket and put it on their calendar and make a night of it with their family. It's a really outrageous concept. I think, you know, all of us are more grateful than ever post-pandemic as well that this is actually still a thing. Because for a moment there, we weren't sure. And so it's outrageous. I think to sum it up in a word, I'd say it's an outrageous feeling. Yeah.
Our guest, Joel Smallbone, he is with the group for King and Country. They've got a big show coming up December 15th at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Now, you have won 4 Grammys, and I am curious what it is like to hear your name called and get the trophy. I don't know. We got nominated for a Marconi. The station did this year. We didn't win, though. So I've been in the nomination side. I've never been on the winning side. That's got to be a great feeling.
This tells you how much we didn't expect it to win. The first time we were nominated, we actually won 2 awards in the same year. And we were doing a show in Nashville, our American hometown, part of a larger tour. And we were driving into the show. And someone from our team reached out to us and said, hey, you guys just won 2. You won a Grammy Award, and you won another one. And, man, our brains fell out of our head. We just couldn't. Again, as immigrants, it's like you have these profound moments where you're like, it's just hard to put on paper. And the fact that it's the industry, the American musical industry coming and saying, we sort of endorse you, it's a moment I'll never forget on Highway 65 driving into Bridgestone Arena in Nashville.
And you guys got nominated again this year, the 2023 nomination, Best Contemporary Christian Music Performance. Tell us about the hit single. It's For God Is With Us. It's got Hillary Scott of Lady A with you guys. Tell us about it.
Yeah, you have these collaborations where there's just a beautiful synergy, and Hillary and us have we've circled the wagons for years. We've been supporters of one another. We've seen each other at the Grammy Awards. Speaking of, we were there when she won 2 Grammys a few years back and got to hug her and high five her in that moment. And so it's a strangest thing. 2022 has become the year of collaboration for us. We've done a podcast together. We're doing part of this film together. And then we're also part of this single, For God Is With Us. And, the spiritual overtone and for us has been a very key part of our journey as people and as musicians. And so it was this is sort of a song that really celebrates the life and the death of Jesus Christ. And it was this real natural fit. We got on a Zoom call and she was like, hey, I love this song. And what you always hope for is that someone will take a song that you've sort of written and will make it the 2.0 version as collaborators. But it doesn't always work that way. And man, my only regret about this song is that her version wasn't the original version, because it's so, in my humble opinion, it's so much stronger with her vocal on it than it was prior to. So we're really proud. She called us the day, because we just found out a couple of weeks ago that we was nominated, and she was like, I was dancing around the kitchen, so excited about this. And those are the beautiful moments of, one of the beautiful moments of being a musician.
Joel Smallbone, our guest, he's with the group for King and Country. They've got a big show coming up December 15th, Gainbridge Fieldhouse. You can get more information at gainbridgefieldhouse.com. And I'm curious, Joel, the Christian music industry, man, and this is a great thing because of the music itself, of the way it impacts people, the amount of people it impacts. It just seems like it is really thriving and really more and more being accepted, if that's the right word, every day in mainstream America. Talk a little bit about the growth of the industry since you've been in it.
Well, I have to credit folks like yourself. I have to credit. It's a combination. It's playlist. It's you all. It's folks getting out of what I think was a very 90s kind of early 2000s concept of dividing music up and creating these sort of walls between genres. And what's been lovely to see both on the business side, I feel like on the artist side as well, is people coming together and going, no, we are going to, not look at our differences as obstacles. We're going to look at our differences as opportunities and rub shoulders with one another. And the very fact that you come from a different either belief system or, political party or ethnic group is actually what makes it beautiful. not what makes it odd. And we felt that, Dolly Parton coming on board, Timbaland coming on board for things like just different folks, Kirk Franklin, Tori Kelly, different folks from different walks of life, different ethnicities, different countries coming and saying, let's collaborate. And it's been a magical, I'm so fortunate. I really count my blessings that we were born into this era of the music industry, because I think it's only up from here. I really do. I think there's going to be more lovely music, 2023 and beyond than we've experienced.
Well, the show is December 15th. We're excited. I'm going to try to get out there and see you guys, hopefully get the chance to meet you guys. Man, keep up the great work. Joel Smallbone, the group is for King and Country. You can see them on their Drummer Boy Christmas 2022 tour experience, December 15th at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Thanks for the time, my friend.
Thank you, Rob. And if you do make it, I want to just promise you there will be curtains falling from the ceiling. There's 9 of us on stage. There's a load of drums. Naturally, we fly into the air about 70 feet at one point. It's like the Australian version of Cirque du Soleil. So I hope you're moved by it if you make it out.
We love it. Thank you, my friend.
See you, buddy.
That is going to do it for us today. Thank you so much for joining us. Great job as always, Casey. Phenomenal job by Kevin on the board. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Stick around. Tony Katz coming up next. It's Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Rare and colorful gemstones formed in the earth. Expert hands selecting only the best. Designers creating jewelry inspired by each stone's uniqueness. At Shane Company, we're passionate about gemstones. We have holiday gifts with a full spectrum of natural, colorful gemstones. Peach morganite, tanzanite, London blue topaz, red garnet, and more. Throughout the year, Tom Shane travels to Bangkok, the gemstone capital of the world, to handpick the best rubies and over a dozen colors of sapphires. He then has the stones expertly cut to bring out their brilliance and beauty. Our stunning gemstone jewelry makes a magical gift. We're open 7 days a week, so come in. Meet with one of our friendly jewelry consultants and leave with a beautiful gift, or get fast and free shipping when you order online. Your gift will be treasured forever.
Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and shaneco.com.
Do you get sinus infections, congestion, sinus pressure and pain, above your eyes, below your eyes, sinus headaches? You've gone to the doctor. You've visited urgent care over and over again. And it's always the same thing. I know. Let's try antibiotics and nasal sprays. But the sinus infections keep coming back. The good news? Relief is possible. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office of Indianapolis Sinus Center called balloon sinuplasty. Imagine the relief of not having to deal with your sinus infections anymore. Set an appointment today with Indianapolis Sinus Center and find out if balloon sinuplasty is the solution for you. Call 317-528-9650. 317-528-9650. That's 317-528-9650.
Greetings from R&R Agency, your Indiana health insurance pros, and a thank you to our loyal customers for making our agency a national sales leader for the 7th straight year. We recently saved a family of 4 over $500 monthly when compared to their ACA plan. You know it's still Obamacare, right? We recently saved a 61-year-old retiring couple over $600 when compared to their COBRA plan. Breaking news, we are now able to offer